Good afternoon and welcome to this ABC football special, the State of Origin clash between Western Australia and Victoria, live from Subiaco Oval in Perth. Well, it's a match in which Victoria hopes to reinstate itself as the power state in Australian football, and that's a title it's had to relinquish in recent time. In fact, the Vics have only won 3 of their last 9 interstate clashes. The last win was 2 years ago, a big win over Western Australia in Perth. Since then, though, the Big V has been cut down to size, beaten by both South Australia and Western Australia last year, but in May this year just failing to snatch victory from South Australia at Adelaide's Football Park.
28 minutes have gone. Fighting for it there is Morris. Picked up by Micken. Here's Lockett. Lockett swings it to centre-half forward. Barwick recovers well. Kick a long bomb. Kick to Ablett, which he does. Ablett from behind. Look at it. A huge leap. Richard Osborne. Left foot snap. Hooks it back and hits it too far. Whoa. 28 and 3/4 minutes have gone.
And Osborne then had the opportunity of grabbing the lead for Victoria.
29 minutes gone. 4 points the difference. South Australia in front. Healy centres. Chance here. Salisbury played well. Very well. Knocked off it by Ablett. Now Royal, it's a free kick to Salisbury.
And Salisbury's been a very good player. Micken punched away there by Langford. All South Australia. Platten, great play, Hughes. A left foot snap for goal. It's a good one. Over the back it goes, and again it's Burgess there.
This guy's taken a long time to get it into play. Lockett in right, it comes to the back. Campbell for South Australia. This could be the end of it. Up the centre wing. Dump back to Schimmelbusch. Glascott. It's a free kick. South Australia's free to Johnny Platten. And I reckon that's the ball game.
I thought Schimmel could have got a free kick there before that.
And if ever a man deserves a kick and the triumph, it's John Platten, who's been absolutely magnificent. In front, it was almost taken. Here comes Nailey. Nailey's been a star. Out to McDermott, on to Micken. Micken down to Mandamaker. Mandamaker and Terry Danaher. Danaher!
Great mark.
An absolutely sensational mark, and he'll have to hurry. Out to Meldrum is dangerous, but he's got to do it. Meldrum and Platten. Meldrum regains possession, and off he goes. Out to Glascott. Glascott centre wing. Short one out to Brereton Marks. Brereton's between centre wing and half-forward flank. And there's the siren.
An all too familiar sight in recent years, jubilation at yet another win over the once invincible Vics. South Australia have won the last 2 against Victoria, but since 1982 it's 3 wins apiece. Across the Nullarbor though, wins have been even harder to come by for the Victorians. Since the last match between Victoria and Western Australia was played in Victoria in 1980, it's 4-2 in favour of the Sandgropers. The Vics' only successes have been in 82 and 85, but there have been some classic matches. Last year's, when Victoria led by 9 points in time on in the last quarter and still lost, was an epic.
Hardy from the outer side, right half forward, high kick. Waterson in from the side, spectacular leap, waiting behind Peake. It lodged between his legs, he tosses it out to McNish. McNish was a back, he's got a back. Oh, he's getting the kick for a push in the back. Well, he propped in front of the Victorian. I think if WA win this game, they'll talk about that decision for a long time.
Yeah, if you were writing the script for this match, you couldn't do it, could you?
No. But that's the same with a couple of them in recent years. McNish, point-blank range. Western Australia trail by 3 points now.
You can hear them roaring from all over Australia, I should imagine. Ball pushed on by Keane, still doing a magnificent job. Keane again. He puts it down to Davidson. Did he get one on the back? Yes, the umpire thought so.
That's 15 metres.
15-metre penalty gives him a chance to drive it deep into attack because it brings him up to centre half forward.
Only 1 Victorians in their half, Lou. They're all in defence.
He's got the long punch, punched out by, picked up by Buckenara. Snap. It's going to the goal.
It's a goal.
Put him in front. Oh, he's got him. Hit the front and look at Buckenara. Just on 31 minutes gone. I'd say about 2 minutes to go at the most. Victoria down by 3 points. Knocked out by Keane. He's played a great game, the big bloke. He won't give in. He's still going after it. He knocked it out, but the umpire will ball it up. So I would say about 2 minutes at the most, Eric, and Desi, up they go again. Knocked out by Keane. Picked up by Buckenara. They go back into attack. It comes Danaher to take the mark at centre half-back. He better get going because time running out for the Vic. They're trailing by 3 points. Out to Mullane. He's grabbed the mark and he's out there on the centre wing position.
Plays on quickly, gets it to Perth. Last roll of the dice maybe coming up for the Victorians. Perth goes towards half forward. Williams has taken the mark. Over the top to Royal. Royal inside scoring range. Brilliantly blanketed off the boot by Blackwell. Another chance for Healy deep in the pocket. He's assaulted by about 4 West Australians bearing down on him. Ball comes to Hardy. He's grabbed by Alban towards the boundary line. Lester Smith. It's out of bounds and we'll have a throw in. Bounce down right full forward. 25 metres out. Keane over the top, clean possession. Salmon is claimed, almost holding the ball, and that's a crucial decision.
It could be their last gasp. It could be, but it may not be.
Western Australia will be in no hurry to take this kick. Miles.
Hug the boundary line if you've got any brains.
Someone's loose in the opposite pocket. I don't suggest that at this stage. Miles, grandstand side, big pack into the air. Western Australia got to get it close to the boundary. Williams, very clever hand pass. Kennedy left the ball behind. Kennedy is claimed now by Baker. Williams in the thick of things. Glendinning falls on the ball, and there's going to be a ball up.
Just on the 34-minute mark, still on Victoria's.
There it is.
The siren. They've won at West Australia. The final scores, West Australia 21 goals 11, 137 to Victoria, 20 goals 14, 134 in Leicester, this crowd.
We're desperate for a win because we've been beaten just the last 3 times by, I think, all up be about 12 points the whole 3 games.
Going to this match the underdog, does that help?
Well, I haven't thought about it in that way. I don't. I suppose on the win-loss ratio we're the underdogs, but I feel we've got enough potential and enough ability to get there. So I don't feel we are the underdogs in my mind. I'm going over there really positive, and I'm sure all the players are too.
Coach Billy Goggins speaking before the team left Tullamarine Airport yesterday morning. Well, now the big match is just about 4 minutes away. Our studio guest during the afternoon, during the breaks in our coverage from Subiaco, is the man who's worn the big V more than anybody else. Big John Nichols, ABC commentator, 31-time Victorian representative. And Big Nick, you've got the Victorian tie on this afternoon. I know who you're barracking for.
I'm doing all I can to help, Tim, but no, the nerves over there, the pressure on those Victorian boys is immense at the moment because there's nothing like losing for Victoria, whatever sport you play, to realise just how much pressure is on you. You know, we're supposed to be the superior state, and until they win that game today, they're under enormous nervous pressure, but I'm sure they'll come through it.
You think they'll win today?
Yes, I do. I think they've got more running players, they've got more rovers. Their rucks are probably a bit thin, but I think the Western Australian rucks, Ishenko, who's under a query, and also Keane, probably, I think we can sort of get on top of them, and that's where the game will probably start and finish.
OK, well, let's go to Subiaco right now. Our commentary team's there. Drew Morford, in fact, has been there for a couple of days, checking out the fickle Western Australian weather as it has been during this season, and also, I'm told, checking out the Burswood Casino. Drew, A, how's the weather? B, how did you do?
Well, thanks, Tim. Well, the weather's a bit sticky and humid here. The forecast for scattered showers, even the possibility of a thunderstorm at the moment, 18 degrees. We had heavy rain last night and again this morning. And in fact, not long ago, just before the game, I think we might get a bit of rain during the game. As for the casino, mum's the word.
I hear you're in front.
I'm slightly in front.
Well done,
well
played.
Now, Kevin, we've heard some bad news from the Victorian dressing room that Tony Lockett won't play.
Yes, that's very, very disappointing for the Victorian team because our prestige is really at stake today, and Tony Lockett is in magnificent form and would have played a very, very big part. I'm tipping Victoria to win, I think, in a great game because we've seen games against Western Australia here at Subiaco, only a few points between the sides. So I'm tipping the Vicks win by 10 points, but of course we'll have to reshuffle our side. For certain now, Paul Salmon will line up at full forward, and I would think that Russell Morris is about the only person left now in the Victorian side who they'll start at centre half forward. But from the team that got beaten by South Australia, I feel we look a lot stronger with Dale Waiton in the side and also Simon Madden. It makes our rucks look a lot stronger, and I think with Royal and Buse, we've got the running players with Gerard Healy around the ground to really test the Western Australians at Subiaco today.
And the word on Tony Lockett is that he was ill in the hotel this morning, and he's still back in the hotel room, and some sort of stomach upset. with Tony Lockett, and that's why he's not playing, which is a sad loss.
And also, I think for the Victorian viewers, Derek Kickett, we're told, won't be taking his place in the Western Australian side. That's a bit of a surprise because he's rated over here as being a superstar and possibly the best player not playing with the Eagles, and there's been a lot of talk why he wasn't selected to play with the Eagles. So without Glendinning and Buckenara and Kickett, they're without 3 of their star players as well.
Now, I have to ask you this. Richmond on the bottom of the VFL ladder, and they have the 2 captains today, Rioli and Waitman. Amazing.
Well, it might be amazing, but I think it's absolutely fantastic for the Richmond Football Club. Dale Waitman certainly deserves to be captain of Victoria. I mean, he's absolutely dominated in recent years. His performance in winning the Tassie medal and the Simpson medal speaks for itself, and he's easily been Victoria's best player. And Maurice Rioli is an absolute hero over here, and he's played so many great games, big games here in Western Australia. In grand finals, he's won Simpson medals. He's won Simpson medals in interstate clashes. And I think with Glendinning pulling out, he was the obvious choice. And it's great for the Richmond Football Club. First time that 2 players from the one club have opposed each other as captains in an interstate match.
And the team's lining up down there with the band still playing. Start of play scheduled to be about a couple of minutes away. Well, the Vics have got a lot to prove, and I think that their attitude is razor sharp. I was down in both rooms before the game, and I spoke to John Todd, the West Australian coach. He reckons it'll be a physical game. Now, I don't know whether he just reckons that's his team or whether he's going to cop it from the Victorians, but I think both of them will go in very hard.
Well, I think, Drew, that, as I said before, we look at the results of the last few games against WA. It has been very, very physical, very, very fast. And John Todd has a reputation of being a very tough coach, and his sides play very physical. Even the Australian Gaelic side became very, very physical under John Todd. So I have no doubt it's going to be that game, and that's the way Victorians would like it, because really our prestige is such that we should come out here today, really get stuck into the Western Australians, really go in very, very hard, attack the ball. We've upset them in the past with very strong tactics when we've been very, very aggressive, and I see no reason why we shouldn't be that way today and have a very, very good win and really restore some of our prestige back in Victoria and around Australia.
Well, of course, with the national competition and the Eagles coming into the VFL this year, we haven't quite got the situation that we've had in past years of not knowing very many of the West Australian players. You should know them all. In fact, the only player in the match who hasn't played in the VFL is Todd Bremen, the Subiaco full forward who leads the goal kicking in Western Australia with 71 goals this season, and you might also know him as a Sheffield Shield cricketer for Western Australia. Todd Bremen, he's the only one that we won't have seen on the VFL arena this year. He's wearing number 21 for WA. And it's a pleasure to welcome for the first time this afternoon, Doug Hayward.
Hi, Drew, and hello to Victoria, of course. But talking about those Guernseys, I was just looking at number 2 down here, and I thought, who's that? It was Jim Cracker. So once they put a different Guernsey on, our own locals so often look so different. But really, it should be a magnificent match. There we are. Laurie Keane's opening on the ball, which indicates Zinchenko is going to be in the forward pocket. And, of course, Bremen, who Drew mentioned just a few moments ago, will line up at full forward. He's been the top goal kicker in the West Australian League this year. Some of the interesting ones is Peter Wilson is on Jenke. It's a big assignment for a young man in his first match.
Very interesting also, Doug. Of course, Salmon's lined up at full forward, but for Western Australia, they've decided to line up Paul Harding at full back.
And Dorotich, I notice, is on Paul Roos, which indicates he's centre-half forward. And these be a fiery centre-half forward. Paul Roos will know what's onto him today.
Quite strange to see Paul Harding, a ruckman with, of course, Hawthorn, and has played at centre-half forward in WA. Obviously, it's such a big problem for him with Salmon, and, of course, Dorotich, mainly a defender playing as in the forward line. And I think that sums up the problems with Glendinning and Buckenara being out.
Umpire Grant Vernon, who's the young West Australian who this year was included on the VFL panel, just 22 years of age, starts the interstate game at Subiaco Oval. Keane wins. It comes to Greg Williams, who fires out the kick wide to the wing, being chased here by Morris and Henwood. And, Wayne Henwood's got a big task in his first game. Fancy playing for Western Australia via Sydney, played in South Australia.
Bit of an altercation with Brennan already, and Wayne Johnston.
And the kick's going back to Western Australia, and it's going to Brennan. Michael Brennan, with a 15-metre penalty, brings him up to centre wing.
I think it might have been taken off Wayne Johnston that time. Good leap from behind there. Coming past it was Rioli. Great chance for Mainwaring, lost it, kicked it into the pack in front of him. Williams with a slick one out. It got out, but the umpire's whistle had blown prior to that, and Simon Madden will take the free kick.
At half-back for Victoria. Sunny conditions now, the day looking brighter right now than it has all day. Up towards half-forward, and Keane takes a strong mark, getting in front of Russell Morris.
Rioli's on Williams, of course, the captain. Keane is a thumping kick, and this is a good 65 metres downfield. Breeman comes from behind. Madden's the man who pushes it down. Good tackle by Roos, then falls on it, and diving wildly at it there was Mitchell. And it's around that centre-half back line for Victoria once again. It'll be bounced again.
The other umpire, Ian Clayton, from Victoria. He's 13 years older than Grant Vernon at 35 years of age. Centre-half forward here for Western Australia. And pressure in there, hard to get the ball out. Umpire says originally play on, he gave them plenty of time, and then said holding the ball against Victoria, and the free kick goes to Maurice Rioli, the West Australian captain, right in front and about 30 metres out. If anything, the breeze slightly at his back, but not a lot of problem from the breeze today, and that's a poor kick by Maurice Rioli, and just barely scrapes in for a behind.
At full-back for Victoria, and Victoria really haven't yet made a sortie forward. Jenke gave a lead, it's ignored. Very long out wide looking for Frawley. Frawley in front will mark it. Frawley on half-back flank. Waitman's the tiny man who's got a battle for it. He's bumped aside very quickly. Downfield it comes, and good mark again at centre half-back by Frawley. That's 2 to him. You'll have to hurry with that kick there by Langford. Not good. Running hard is Peter Wilson. Peter Wilson, very difficult angle, goes again. Caught with a beautiful tackle and lucky to get out of it. He didn't get out of it. Umpire Clayton gives the free kick, and the free kick will go to Toohey for a very strong one.
And that's one of the problems that Peter Wilson has. He runs too far with the ball, and he finds himself in a hole and not knowing what to do.
Toohey up to centre wing. Madden nudged out by Keane, and Simon Madden will take the free kick. Goes for the hand pass out wide. Healy. To half forward. Salmon bumped out, the strong mark over the top by Henwood. Well, Wayne Henwood virtually talked his way into this West Australian team. He criticised the coach, finished up getting a berth.
And he's lined up at centre half back, and he's playing on Russell Morris.
Oh, the biggest, longest 15-metre penalty in the history of the game as Henwood sends a one down. Simon Madden, your chance, good catch. Didn't hold it quite long enough. Nicely picked up, and Breeman out wide, and another chance now for the captain, for Cracker. Jimmy Cracker shoots for goal, but they're off direction again. And that's 2 of the great skilled players of football in Rioli and Cracker, who've kicked very badly.
Well, it was a very bad miss, and we've come to know Jimmy Cracker and his lightning skills along with Maurice Rioli. And they've had 2 golden opportunities in this opening quarter.
Langford kicks in about 65 metres. Huge kick. The thumb comes down to the front to hold it. A lot of pressure there. Frawley gets the hand pass up to Roos, and his kick towards centre wing. Morris with Henwood. Morris at the second grab. No mark paid. Play on. Now he's buried and holding the ball. And a bit of an altercation going on there again. And it's to be a West Australian free kick again. And he's done well, Henwood.
He certainly has. He's a really vigorous, wild, leaping player. Nice pick up then, a hand pass. Oh, Wilson had the chance and lost it. Nice slick one there from Frawley again, playing well. Mainwaring punches very cleverly to Keane. A good tackle by Dipper, and the free kick will go to Dippy Domenico. He's about between centre wing and half-back flank.
Free kicks have been paid for tackles in the opening few minutes of this game that I've seen all season, I reckon.
And Lester Smith has lined up on Richard Osborne.
And it's a great pass by Dippy Domenico, finding his Hawthorn teammate Morris over the top. And away goes Healy. And this is good start. Waitman getting into the play for the first time, dodging and weaving, steers for goal, and he's offline as well. So we haven't had a goal in the match as yet. It's Western Australia 2 behinds and Victoria 1 behind.
Harding. Dropped short. Great leap and a fine mark taken there by Merv Neagle. Neagle, who can kick the ball a long way, is about 55, maybe a little closer to 60 metres out when he kicks it. But a very busy, bustling player. Play on, he says. Morris, you're in trouble. Not a good-looking hand pass. Back it comes to Neagle. hooks it back over his shoulder, back to the full forward square, and a great leap from behind by Keane is successful for an excellent mark.
And Laurie Keane's done it marvellously well in this first quarter, dropping back, make certain that he's there against Salmon and Paul Harding. He's taken 2 really strong marks.
But a shocking kick by Keane. Morris taps it up the ground. Hand pass comes in from Neagle. Chance for Williams in front, 40 metres out, and it's a great kick by Greg Williams, and the first goal goes on the board at the 6.5-minute mark.
Well, he's a danger. He's already gave out a couple of hand passes. There's Merv Neagle, his teammate, across to Greg Williams, and Maurice Rioli was some 10-12 metres away from Greg Williams. And of course, when Williams goes into the forward line, Maurice Rioli would certainly have to pick him up very, very quickly because he's so damaging. And that's not good to see the captain of WA giving so much leeway to a player so dangerous as Greg Williams.
It'll be very interesting to see whether he's asked to play the real tagging role on Williams. It'll depend how well Williams plays early, I guess. In the centre, it's Gerard Healy who's going to take a free kick, and both umpires pretty keen to blow the whistle early in the match, which is, I think, fairly common in a big match. It keeps the players in order in a fiery first quarter, if it's like Wembley. Runs around his opponent far too easily, does Healy. Morris goes up and takes the fine mark, and has got an opportunity now to shoot the goal. Russell Morris, one of the finds of the season. He's been a good player on the half-back flank for Hawthorn for years. But been moved to the forward line, played centre-half forward and half-forward flank, and has been one of the really big improvers in VFL football. Kicks now from 50 metres from goal. Exit long kick.
Bit of a problem, unfortunately, and a problem perhaps for Western Australia in the early part, Big John. It looks as though the Vics have settled in pretty well and just might take a bit of containing.
Yes, well, I think if Victoria can get Paul Salmon into the act, and obviously the long kicking at this stage is not reaching Paul Salmon, but if Salmon can get there, he'll be very dangerous, even though it's interesting with Harding pick him up. But Keane's done well in the ruck for Western Australia, but it gets back to the running players, and Greg Williams, I think, is the key to everything, that if Williams can keep on feeding that ball out to the running players, and kicked our first goal, and obviously Rioli and those are under pressure, a bit nervous because they missed those first 2 shots. But once they settle down, I think that I still think the professionalism of Victoria, should carry them through.
Well, we've got our line back. There has been a goal kick by the look of it, but I'm not sure at which end. Let's find out from our commentators.
Fires out the hand pass. It goes to Narkle. Long penetrating kick by Narkle. Freeman there, but dumped away by Langford. Bairstow could have been tackled when he didn't have it. Freeman again. Good handling eventually. Hooks it across his body to the goal square. Ishenko's there. Alaxos as well at ground level. A real scrap here, and umpire Clayton comes in and will ball it up. Victoria leading 2-1 to 2 behinds. 13 points to 2 with Victoria leading, and we've been playing about 9 minutes in the first quarter. Goals for Victoria to Greg Williams and Paul Salmon.
Out wide it comes. Chance for a nice pick-up by Neagle, doing well. Short passes, had nobody to kick to it, kicked it very intelligently and grubbed over the line out of bounds. There was not a Victorian player in sight, and the experienced Neagle did that particularly well. It's out of bounds, and West Australia still in attack.
And you mentioned before, Drew, Todd Bremen, the only Western Australian we've seen in Victoria with the Eagles. He plays with Subiaco, and he's booted 74 goals this year.
Tui out of a pack, up short of centre wing. Charging the ball, Johnston. Spills across to Murphy. Centre circle job, and Healy will take the free kick. Tackled high, advantage played. Dippy Domenico. Great tackle, buries it. The hand pass fired out quickly. High kick by Williams to full forward. Over goes Morris. Back there with him is Henwood, and happy to rush it through for a behind Wayne Henwood.
Well, it's a great tackle by Craig Holden, who really put in some quick ones to pull down the dipper. And very good defensive play by Henwood, who took the easy way out in the proper way and just rushed that ball through.
It'll be hard to beat Henwood. Turn out to Mainwaring, to Mitchell. Didn't gain much with that, but Hardy's the target, not a good one. Nicely picked up by Narkle. Narkle to centre half forward, underneath a Dorotich. Almost took a good one, 3-2 against him. Wilson's racing at it. Looks for it and gathers in superbly with his left boot. And behind the play, bad shepherding by Dorotich, and the free kick will go to Jenke. Well, what a beautiful opportunity lost, Kevin.
Yeah, silly play to give away a free kick with poor shepherding.
Ray Jenke with the hand pass, intercepted by Wilson, pops it out to Bairstow, 45 metres out, under pressure, nobody in the goal square, and it bounces truly for a goal. Top goal by Mark Bairstow.
And very good play by Peter Wilson, who on that particular occasion knew exactly what he wanted to do, and that's fire out the hand pass very, very quickly. And Bairstow having to kick under pressure. Got the lucky bounce, but certainly Wilson has been a very lively player on the half-forward line. Ray Jenke is picking him up. And if he can just control his emotions and every time he wins the ball do something useful, he could be quite a danger today.
What an appalling hand pass by Jenke that gave that goal away originally. Over the top goes Matt. Nicely picked up by Narkle, boots it, and the hand passes out cleverly. And a good one comes on him. Here comes Holden. Holden shoots for goal with a long one and won't make it. And it was touched by Langford and through for one behind.
Well, Richard Dennis, the former Carlton player playing his first state game, was quick to get that ball out to Craig Holden. Then he'll be very keen to impress today.
Loveridge from the back pocket, up towards half-back flank, and Williams takes the mark. 2 goals to Victoria, 1-3 Western Australia, and we've been playing 13 minutes in the first term. Williams to half-forward, good Mark Morris. Feeding off him, Johnston. Oh, what a tackle. Got the kick away, but it went astray, and the mark to Mainwaring at centre half-back. Across the ground to Holden, who has a break. Holden puts it out wide. Narkle, who keeps on starring in state games. Centering kick is beautiful to Mitchell. That's Jimmy Cracker. Inboard he goes to Rioli. Not a great kick by Rioli, and hits Ruse on the chest at centre half-back.
Out to Simon Madden, didn't gain much. Madden downfield. Keane goes up beautifully over the top. Sora by Laurie Keane. And there's fight on again. But Keane has been a very good player. One blemish when he didn't come in contest strongly or misjudge one against Salmon. There's a 15-metre penalty, and if there's one player in this West Australian side who can make the distance from about 60 metres out, it's the giant Keane. He'll be enjoying being on the ball. Maybe Ischenko just slightly doubtful with injury, resting in the forward pocket at the moment. Keane comes in, kicks it very long, but not long enough. Looking for Alex Ischenko. Huge leap from behind. Nice hand passes intercepted and taken out by Buse. Awkward bounce, tapped up by Osborne. Well played Lester Smith. Very good across the ground it goes. Too high that time for Cracker. Picked up nicely in a free kick I thought might have gone, but it's not going to go to Neagle. Cracker's with it, and it's beautifully out wide, and the mark is easily taken over there by Bairstow again. Bairstow's kicked one, has a wonderful opportunity to kick his second. The Geelong player comes in, kicks it high, won't make it once again, right in the teeth of goal. And it was just missed that time. A gallant effort by Dennis, but the umpire's found in that mess. I think he's going to clear it away by bouncing it.
Dorothy's pretty keen to have a wrestle. A chance for WA to get their second goal, and if they do, they'll hit the front. Ball up by umpire Vernon right in the square. Tapped out by Madden is great to Healy. Long and high. Awkward one this for Nark, but it comes back to him. Beautiful play. Hardy on the forward line. 40 metres out. Oh, almost to Schenko. He's kept it in. It's just gone across the line. Western Australia go to 1-4, trailing Victoria 2-2 at the 15-minute mark.
And Langford having great trouble with the immense physique of Ischenko. Kicks it long out wide. Oh, Markle, brilliant. On to Keane. Keane steadies and sends it downfield, and it'll be marked. Wonderful anticipation by Mitchell. Over the top of the big fellows that went, and the fight is on. And there's Victorian almost being strangled there.
Now the umpire should take the ball off Mitchell and give it to Andrew Buse, because he's been grabbed around the neck, he's been dragged to the ground, thrown to the ground, and we see many times. Of course, he was upset there because Buse went in pretty hard. But how many times do we see an umpire come in and take the ball off a player when another player's been harshly dealt with?
Mind you, Mitchell did get knees in the back well after it marked.
So that allows the rest of them to come in and drag him around the neck?
Probably not. This one to put Western Australia in front from point-blank range. And Michael Mitchell's done it. And Western Australia lead 2-4 to Victoria, 2-2. and a chance to welcome our viewers through country Western Australia who've just joined the telecast. Absolutely nothing in this. Western Australia lead by 2 points. We've been playing about 17 minutes in the first quarter. And here's Laurie Keane from outside the 50, getting up towards the goal square. Mitchell and crunch. In goes Buse. And what happened afterwards, he may well have given away the kick, but gee, it was late.
Keane has taken 3 very fine marks at the opening moments of the game, and up it goes against Madden again. Neither get down with it. Williams very slick and fast. Long kick downfield by Murphy for his first kick. Salmon's the target, of course. What fine play by Harding. And there's West Australians everywhere as they push it out towards the boundary line. Hand pass by Henwood doing particularly well. Main Waring came in with a late tackle. Richard Loveridge looking for the free kick. Umpire says no, throw.
And Wayne Johnston gave a terrific little right uppercut into Henwood's midriff.
Well, Main Waring charging through the pack and getting the paddle out, but it's all Victoria here. Osborne back to Healy, under pressure with his kick, 25 metres out. Thump straight to the arms of Williams, and Williams misses.
Well, it was uncharacteristic then of Greg Williams to really rush that, because he had plenty of time to steady up, and for one who's usually so cool, obviously he still feels a bit of the pressure. We see Hart there, and of course Steve Malaxos, the interchange bench for Western Australia.
1 point the difference was the familiar Ginger Meggs, Brad Hardy, who kicks the ball so well, does a short one. It was ill-advised. Luckily Femmett comes back to himself, over the top from a big punch, and Main Waring can't take it, but that was a wasted one from fullback. When he tried the short pass, it'll be thrown in only about 40 metres away from Victoria's behind post.
Comes to ground level. Hand pass quickly out. And a very high kick up in the air by Loveridge towards the goal square. Roving Waitman in the back. Free kick. He'll be close to the boundary line and have a difficult shot. And that one against Jimmy Cracker. Got the lot. The back, the head.
Foot on the head, Drew.
Well, Waitman, who so often has starred in these interstate games, he was unavailable through suspension and injury for the game against South Australia. Goes for the short pass, and Henwood marks and buffets off an opponent. And Wayne Henwood's doing a top job on Russell Morris.
Yes, and enjoying every bit of it. He's a very tough player. He's given the Sydney Swans a magnificent year. What a fine pass it is too. Narkles the man with it. Back towards centre wing is not well directed. Matt Butley really soared above Keane. A wonderful battle. And the West Australians realise how good Madden was. He was absolutely magnificent his last visit here. Wayne Johnston sends it down the Salmon direction again. A wild leap there. Salmon's with it, steadies and shoots for goal. And the big fella's done it well. That's his skill, Kev. He can do it on the ground as well as taking the big ones.
Well, he's been in such fantastic form lately, Doug, that his confidence is so high, and we've spoken about it before, that not only can he lead and take marks and stand tall, but he has got terrific recovery. And look at that. Look at the way he just got around Bairstow then by just went to kick the ball, decided not to, just moved the ball over those long arms and then quickly onto the right boot. And he's a terrific danger.
Incidentally, the free kicks are 8-3 in favour of Victoria in the first 19 minutes. Victoria back in front, leading by 5 points. Comes down to Bairstow. His kick not out of the centre square yet, and a good running mark back in defence by Tui. Taking it a long way back defensively. Back towards centre wing to Dipia Domenico. Main Waring climbing all over him. Osborne takes a clip round the air from Wilson but plays on. Osborne's kick to centre half forward. Claimed over the back by Western Australia. It comes to Hardy. Great balking, Brad Hardy. Beautiful play from centre half back. Drives it out to the outer wing to Jimmy Cracker in space. He's got Mitchell. This is great stuff. Could be a goal coming up for Western Australia. He pops it in short to Dorotich, and he's got it on the 25-metre mark. What football started by Brad Hardy.
It really was absolutely perfect, and that's the skills, almost unique skills of Hardy. He kicked that ball 55 to 60 metres into position absolutely perfectly, and then on went the Aboriginal magic as Jimmy Cracker got it to Mitchell. Mitchell then to Dorotich, and Dorotich left footer. The Carlton centre half back boots a goal. He came across to Carlton with a reputation from being able to play centre half forward as well as in the back line, and shows he's quite comfortable there. That was an excellent goal and beautiful football. Here it is.
Yes, Brad. He's got the job of minding Dale Waitman and Richard Loveridge out to Jimmy, and Jimmy with that beautiful little chip. And Michael Mitchell's been a very good player. Was a former Sandover medalist and played a great game last year in the interstate clash down to Dorotich, who we know mainly as a defender, but was a centre-half forward over here in Western Australia and showed that he still retains the ability to kick a goal.
Victoria have just made a change. Murphy off and David Rees-Jones on the ground. Williams out of the middle. Clever tap by Morris. Slightly missed Healy. There's a stack on players. And this will be a West Australian free kick in the back. And Mainwaring quickly takes it. Goes by hand. Out to Mitchell. Long kick by Michael Mitchell. Inside half forward. Wilson's there. Comes to the back to Bremen. And then Bremen applies a good tackle. Comes out wide to Roos. And he finds space on the outer side to Tui.
Tui will look for the long one. Very long it is too. Looking out there for Rees-Jones. What a good mark. Over the top of Holden.
It's a good move because Narkle had got well on top of Murphy.
Rees-Jones looking for Salmon. Salmon in front position. Comes out reeling, looking for a free kick. Opportunity there for Morris. Played Mainwaring. Very good football. Good tackle there. Mainwaring still with the ball. And eventually out of danger by Ischenko, straight into the big fellow, Dipper Domenico, and Dipper turns, look out, bad hand pass to Osman. Osman can kick the ball great distances, kicks it long, and it'll make the distance. No, it won't. It's touched on the line by Mitchell, and Mitchell gets it through for one behind. Wonderful football, 22 points to West Australia and 22 points to Victoria.
Well, Mainwaring should have received a free kick. Russell Morris hit him very, very high, and if Victoria had have got a goal then, you can imagine the crowd here would have erupted.
Well, he nearly lost his head, Mainwaring, but one thing he did lose was his boot. Oh, excellent mark taken over the back by Rod Lester-Smith. On the 50-metre line. Not too sure what to do. Mitchell's been starring. Mainwaring, one boot. Good tackle, Dipia Domenico. Comes back to Henwood. Mitchell, back to Henwood. Great football, WA. Down the boundary line to half forward. Jimmy Cracker. Well, for once he fumbled, but it could have gone off views out of bounds on the full. That's the way it's been ruled, and it'll be a West Australian free kick to Jimmy Cracker.
Cracker to Wilson. Wilson 70 metres out. Long downfield. From behind, the chance for a mark, and was almost taken by Frawley. Kicking off the ground was Langford chasing out wide. He's pursued by Bremen. In comes Holden to assist. Holden hooks it across, and Rioli's in the van. Gets an awkward bounce, and quickly a dangerous hand pass. The chance for Bairstow. He's ridden into the ground. Play goes on. Loveridge's hand pass goes out to Keane. Keane gets it taken away from him by Healy. Healy once again a chance, and a very quick hand pass. Is very skillful. Out to Tui, onto Loveridge. Loveridge now steadies on the half-back line and short. Good football. Steadies it into the centre of the ground to Morris.
Morris up to centre half forward. One out is Salmon with his opponent. It's dumped down. Comes to Mainwaring, who's rode well. Still one boot on, one boot off. Mitchell absolutely cutting them to pieces. Ran a fair way. Put it out wide to the half forward flank to Dorotich, who beat his opponent out there, Roos, but couldn't hold the mark and the ball out of play.
Got there and dropped what he would have taken 99 times out of 100. Madden and Ischenko. Williams very, very quick. Tui doing well. Tui 55 to 60 metres straight to Hardy. Hardy loving the freedom there on the back line. He seems to get away from his opponent, not worry about them, but played so well. That's a bad one. Out to Dipper Domenico. He then sends the half-forward flank, and Hardy goes high. Couldn't hold it. In front, the chance for Lester-Smith. Well tackled by Osman. Still an opportunity. Salmon now. Long hand pass is very, very dangerous. And a wild leap and a punch over the line, and Salmon goes slithering after it. Great defensive football.
What a great quarter played by Wayne Henwood, who firstly talked his way into the side. He said he was very disappointed because hardly anyone had kicked a goal on him in the last 5 weeks. He's been an inspiration to Western Australia playing on Morris.
Oh, socket away, and it bounced just inside the line for another throw-in. The crowd a bit disappointing here today. Nothing like over 40,000, but the rain about the time people were intending to take a sickie might have kept the field work. Comes to Osborne, centering kick. Doesn't quite get to the back. It does now to Rees-Jones. He hooks for goal. Kick smothered. Rees-Jones again. Can't pick up. Will take a free kick. Grabbed when he didn't have it. Right on the edge of the goal square. Harding, number 23. And coming over the top was Billy Duckworth, 24. And this should be a certain goal to David Rees-Jones. The scores are level at the moment. And now Victoria lead by 6 points. 4-4 to 3-4.
David Rhys-Jones was brought onto the ground when David Murphy was taken off, and he's proved to be a very, very good player. He's picking in a couple of very good passages of play. Billy Duckworth now is picking him up. He went on to the centre wing position to replace Murphy, but now he's been moved to the half-forward flank.
Well, there'll be some fire and brimstone between bustling Billy Duckworth and the man with the short fuse, David Rhys-Jones. Mitchell, incidentally, has had 9 possessions for the quarter, taken 4 marks. Madden, down it goes to Loveridge. Hardy's got the chance again, taken away from him brilliantly. In trouble was Duckworth. Fine play, Henwood again. Very clever to Lester Smith. Lester Smith back it goes, and the kick across the ground by Brennan's pretty dangerous. It is very dangerous, and Rhys-Jones in perfect position, beats 2 opponents, then drives it long, looking for Salmon. Wonderful kick. What an excellent lead is the Giant, as he seems to just come ambling down the field, but he's very direct in his leads, and Rhys-Jones, a talented, clever player, saw the lead very quickly, and with about a 30-metre pass finds him, and Victoria looking good at this stage, 4-4 to West Australia's 3-4. And there's that traditional long run in before he kicks the goal from Paul Salmon. He'll be about 35 metres out as he shoots for goal. It didn't look too good to me, and it wasn't too good. The West Australian stand enjoyed it, through for 1 behind.
It's interesting at the centre bounce that WA has elected to start Jimmy Cracker outside the centre bounce on occasions and Phil Narkle in the centre bounce, and then the 2 of them to change once the bounce has taken place.
Narkle, who seems to improve 300% for State of Origin games, comes to the back here to Holden. Holden's kick bouncing up to half-forward. Great gather by Buse, caught by Mitchell. Ball spills free. Holden in there again. Ball just a little bit slippery after light rain has been falling on and off during the first quarter, and it goes out of play. Michael Mitchell being interchanged by Western Australia here, and coming onto the ground is David Hart. Mitchell's had a superb quarter, nearly 10 possessions. And also Victoria made a change with Wayne Johnston off and Brian Royal coming onto the ground in time on in the first term. We've played about 27 minutes.
And Victoria 4-5-29, leading West Australia 3-4-22. Madden beautifully down. Williams didn't get it. Rioli off the ground was clever. Nice strong football. Bairstow back to Rioli. Rioli hooks it back in the Dorotage-Roos direction. Roos punches. Wilson, long hand pass out wide is great football, and the shot for goal is a beauty. Straight through from Hart, and he welcomes his appearance on the ground, his first kick of goal.
Well, once again, the lightning hands and the quickness of Peter Wilson, who's been a good player. And, of course, David Hart has just been brought onto the ground to replace Michael Mitchell, who's also been a very, very good player. I'm quite certain why they would take Mitchell off at this stage, but it has worked with a goal with David Hart, who we've seen a bit of a goal sneak with the West Coast Eagles. But once again, good play by Peter Wilson, who's causing a little bit of trouble to the Victorians, particularly Ray Jenkins' opponent.
Victoria's lead is 1 point. Out of the middle, Madden. The kick a bit astray. Goes to Duckworth. Back to Hardy. Puts it wide to centre wing. Holden covering ground. That was a great lead by Craig Holden, and he marked just inside the boundary line, just forward of the wing. And a 15-metre penalty. Played against Bernard Toohey. Kick by Holden, high to centre half forward. A huge pack there. And the mark dragged down by Roos in defence. Off he goes. Neagle. Loveridge back to Neagle. Good running, Merv Neagle. Terrific. Onto Dipia Domenico. 55 metres to Salmon. 1 out. And he's got it again. Laurie Keane's gone back there, but didn't make any difference. Sorry, it's still Harding, isn't he?
Still Harding, yes.
The Eagles have struggled with a full-back, and I think Western Australia is struggling a bit with a full-back as well.
Well, Keane is resting now in the forward pocket, but when he's on the ball, he has been getting back very, very quickly to set up that wall with his height. But 1 out, Salmon's been too strong in the air for Harding.
Kick for goal by Paul Salmon is right through the middle. He's got 3 in the first quarter. Well, I think Tony Lockett was certain to play it full forward until he was ill overnight, and Salmon certainly hasn't let the Vicks down with 3 in the first term.
It was great running there by Merv Neagle, and terrific running also by Dale Waitman, who was telling him at every opportunity what sort of situation he was in. Plus, he did a terrific block that enabled Neagle not to be tackled. And Dipper, full marks to that kick, because it was just out in front of Salmon. With those long arms, those telescopic arms, made it virtually impossible for Paul Harding to...
That's the third mark to Salmon. He's done it very well. Very awkward one there for Madden. Rioli tried to force his way through the pack and is going to take No, he's not taking the free kick. It's going to Victoria. It's going to Madden. That's a very dangerous hand pass to Jenke, just as dangerous to Williams. Williams out wide and Brennan's got the chance. Does it pretty well as the siren blows. And an eventful first quarter. Victoria 5-5-35, leading West Australia 4-4-28.
And the goal kickers for Victoria, Salmon 3, one each to Williams and Rhys Jones, and the goal kickers for Western Australia. And they've had singles through Mitchell, Hart, Dorotich and Bairstow. And at quarter time, it's a 7-point lead to Victoria, 5-5 to 4-4.
Saturday, a movie masterpiece, Kate, the Good Neighbour.
Mrs. Druce is not going to be made an offer. She's not ready to move.
Moving is putting furniture into a van, young man. It may be disturbing, but it is not a traumatic experience.
The acclaimed Rachel Kempson plays the victim of a senseless attack that sends her reeling into the past.
You must be one of the women who are winning the war.
And to her only true love.
You're not turning me down flat.
Apparently not.
A marvellous Saturday movie, Kate, the Good Neighbour, 8:30 here on ABC. Monday night, it's the brightest new comedy in years.
Fairchild here.
Oh, hello, Fairchild. Fielding here. Hurry up or we'll miss our train.
Funny business in executive stress. Followed by everyone's favourite, Yes, Prime Minister.
I need someone who's on my side.
But I'm on your side.
Perhaps I should leave. Humphrey, please leave now.
In what sense of the word do you mean leave?
A feast of comedy with executive stress and Yes, Prime Minister and Clive James late. Monday on ABC.
Well, welcome back to Subiaco Oval. Well, it's the first interstate game I've seen at Subi Oval since about 1974, apart from on television. They are terrific, aren't they?
It's a wonderful ground. They are marvellous. Two of the players who give us great joy here today, the two Richmond ones too, Drew, who I don't think Peter Wilson or Murray Mitchell, Michael Mitchell have had a very good season, yet the two Richmondites have played beautifully. But throughout the match there's been some wonderful football. Salmon has shown his danger at full forward. All the West Australians contributed. The two who talked their way into the side, in the person of Brad Hardy and Henwood, have probably, or Henwood's been their best, I guess, and Brad Hardy not far behind. Kev, would you agree?
Well, I think Henwood's been absolutely superb in that last line of defence, but really, I suppose, for Victoria, the big danger for WA has been Paul Salmon down there at full forward. I think anyone who can kick 3 goals in the opening quarter, and it was a terrific opening quarter. I mean, only 7 points the difference, and as we said prior to the game, these games have been so close, and I don't think it's going to be any different today, but Salmon does give us a focal point. It does appear that the Western Australian side haven't got a focal point. Todd Bremen has kicked 74 goals, but he's not big or awesome looking as Paul Salmon. He's not someone who you can really kick the ball high to in the square and say, well, look, he's going to get his hands to it. But Salmon's been excellent like that for us.
Can you explain why it is that Mitchell and Murphy seem better players when they take off a Richmond jumper and pull on it? Wilson and Mitchell become better players when they tug on a West Australian jumper.
Well, I'm certain Tony Jewell would like them to be playing every week as they've been playing today. But I think there's something special in coming back to WA after playing Victoria and to represent your state. And I'm certain there's a great deal of pride. And, you know, it is disappointing for, say, Richmond fans to maybe see two players play at their very best at the moment. But I think it's the pride in the jumper. And I'm certain Richmond are hoping that they can produce that form.
Narkle's another one.
Well, Phil Narkle's been a marvellous player all through with the West Coast Eagles. Probably played better than what we saw him play at St Kilda. He's a former Sandover medalist, but when the players come back here to WA, you can just see the crowd here, Doug. They just love the heroes, and it's very uplifting for the players. I mean, Mark Bairstow, a Sandover medalist in 1986, it's great for him to be back here, and he's having a great duel, say, with Gerard Healy. But I thought Laurie Keane, Doug, I know you're a great rapper for Laurie Keane, but he was, I thought, marvellous in that quarter. He really controlled the rucks early. Madden did well for us, but he did get back as often as he possibly could to try and stop Salmon, and I thought he was a fine player.
What would you do about centre-half forward for Victoria, Kev? We don't seem to have another one. We're missing Dermott very badly. Russell Morris struggling against Henwood. There doesn't seem to be an adequate replacement, does there?
Well, not at the moment. We have struggled there because Henwood has been very, very good. But I suppose we could even put Rhys Jones here at centre-half forward, and I feel that was a great move, bringing Rhys Jones onto the ground. He's very mobile.
play about to get underway. We've got John Bell down on the boundary line. Have we got time? No, I think the match about due to start again.
We can chat over the start of the match if you like.
Right.
Well, from the bounce, immediately there's a melee. Punched out, waiting in front. Eventually diving at it was Madden. And it's difficult, tough conditions with everybody fiercely contesting. Neagle eventually with it, and that's Peter Wilson really furious that he's given away a free kick, and the free kick's going to a Victorian player underneath all of that. And guess who? The tough little man from the Sydney Swans, it's Greg Williams. Here comes Dipper. Decides to kick when maybe he should have hand passed. Goes out to Hardy. Hardy's under pressure and trouble to get rid of it too. Nicely picked up by Waitman. Looks for a hand pass. It's a good one. Picked up nicely and driven down towards the goal square. And it is through.
Brian Royal.
Brian Royal, who we've hardly sighted for the match. Out the half-forward flank, and it's looking very dark out there at the moment. I think the rain has started.
Quite heavily, I think, now, Doug. We see Brad Hardy having his kick there smothered, and Dale Waitman there with those quick hands. Look at the way he just threaded his way through out to Brian Royal, who dummied the hand pass. And he was a star here last year for Victoria. Royal with Waitman. He booted 5 goals, and he is very, very good around goals.
Well, out of the centre again. And it's teeming with rain here at Subiaco Oval at the moment. Pretty dark. Victoria forcing the ball forward. Conditions which perhaps may suit them. Morris tries one off the ground. Royal again, bowled over by Duckworth, and Royal will take the free kick. Royal came on late in the first quarter. Gets a lead from Salmon, who has to prop and cop and go back. Chance here for Victoria if they can reach it in time. The hand pass comes back, but it's forced through by Harding. And just as Osborne was rushing at it, looking to soccer through a goal, he ran out of space.
Not quite certain what he expected Paul Salmon to do then.
Well, Richard maybe would have been wise just to push it back into play with a backhander, but here comes Hardy, who's kicked out very, very long. Looking for Rioli that time, outmanoeuvred, nicely picked up by Healy. Healy hooks it back and underneath it, Loveridge. Loveridge on the 50-metre mark will be too far. Bad hand pass. Dipper Domenico's wheels back, gets onto his right foot. Great kick, Dipper. Over the top it went. Salmon should have held that one, but in the rain it's getting tough. Duckworth kicks it out wide. Oh, that could have been a free kick. It's not allowed. Picked up by Loveridge. Steadies and shoots for goal. Awkward one, just missed. Close but difficult angle, one behind.
And with the heavy rain, it may be a help to Western Australia, because Salmon has been marking particularly well, and we've seen a couple of times even with Kevin Sheedy where Salmon hasn't performed well when it's been raining very, very heavily, because it does take away that terrific advantage he has in the air.
Kick in by Rod Lester-Smith. Oh, slippery ball out of Narkle's arms. They're in trouble behind centre half back, but Narkle takes a free kick. Puts it out wide to Henwood. He's spoiled at the last moment by Morris. And the ball out of play. You must think it rains in WA every day of the year.
I do, Drew. I heard it was the great sunny state, but here's an opportunity now for Bairstow. Steadies and kicks it right across the ground. It's dangerous. Looking for Main Waring was the target. Nice interception by Tui. Then he's well tackled. This brings Wilson into the game. Dipper Domenico tackles him with the ball, slides off his boot, over the line, out of bounds. But my word, you've got to earn a free kick. The tackling has been wonderful.
Look, then there's Murray Rance sitting on the interchange bench there with Malaxos, but it looked as if Bairstow was going to kick it the wrong way then. Just realised they had changed ends.
Kicked by Tui close to the boundary line, and out of bounds on the full, and it'll be a West Australian free kick into play, to be taken by Rod Lester-Smith. Up towards the centre of the ground. Whipped away there by Neagle, but he's caught in a good tackle, loses control. Ruse, number 20, trying to paddle the ball away. Paddle, the right word for that. Jimmy Cracker out of the pack. This is great stuff. Goes to Dorotich, but the hand pass missed. Holden going past. Bit slow, Holden, and buried in the tackle. And the umpire's coming in. What's he going to do? Ball it up.
Well, it was a terrific tackle by Bernard Tui, and really Holden had every opportunity to get rid of that ball. And the fact that he was tackled and brought to the ground, I feel he should have been paid a free kick.
Opponents today, teammates throughout the year with those two. Nice play, Matt. Williams couldn't find anyone to give it to. Sliding out wide, here's a chance for Holden once again. Pushes it back into play carefully, kicked off the ground there. And now No, a hand pass goes back, and this time it's Victoria's chance through Dipper. Back it comes to the half-back flank and driven down to centre wing, and in the rain the kicks are falling short, and the mark is taken over there by Mainwaring.
Centre wing on the outer side, and with the aid now of a 15-metre penalty against Osborne. Mainwaring bangs it as long as he can inside half forward. Huge pack. Dorotich thumps it to the back. Hughes picks up for Victoria. One way, then the other. Has any number of players running after this, but the kick a bit wide, and Neagle couldn't gather it, and the ball goes out of play about 30 metres from goal. Disappointing kick there by Andrew Hughes.
It was a poor kick. He had plenty of opportunity there to deliver to Merv Neagle.
Super opportunity, Ross. There's two of them there too. This time they will get out of it through Waitman. Waitman back in the kick from centre half back over the top. Fighting for it was William Duckworth. Or was it Harding? There's Williams gets a tackle. Royal on the ball, can't take it. Kicked off by Brennan. Luckily goes to Buse, and Buse has got a chance to redeem himself.
With the kick up short of the wing. Down goes Morris. Didn't take the mark. Free kick was going to be paid. Advantage. Royal kicks long to centre half forward. Di Domenico underneath the ball. Lester Smith fires out the hand pass. Intercepted by Williams. Threw the ball up in the air. No whistle. Play on, you fellas. Let the better man win. This topster. Hardy goes in and applies a great tackle. Still no whistle. Now Narkle with a chance. Goes off the ground and gains about 40 metres. Outnumbered 3-1 is Dorotich. It comes to the back to Roos, and Roos gallops out of defence and kicks close to the boundary line to Di Domenico, who marks.
And Narkle comes late on the scene. Headlock from Dipper. Narkle took the points against Dipper in their last contest, so the rugged Brownlow medalist will be trying to do better. Great kick to Morris. That was Hawthorn to Hawthorn, beautifully directed. Morris should kick for goal. Decides to kick to Salmon. Salmon under great pressure, and it would have been better if Russell Morris had shot for the open goal instead of in this greasy conditions as the ball is affected by the pelting rain. Tried a short pass to Salmon, unsuccessful.
It's pretty difficult, Doug, to do fancy things when it starts to rain. The ball gets very, very greasy.
Laurie Keane takes the mark. Left half back for Western Australia. 44 plays 28, Victoria leading by 16 points.
And Wayne Henwood is limping, and he's going off the field, and that's a blow to WA. And Murray Rance is going to take his place at centre half back.
Well, Greg Williams caught high and will take the free kick. There's a nice old biff. And Wilson has decked one of the Victorians, Greg Williams. And I think the book's coming out for Peter Wilson.
If Neagle comes in to just give his assistance, and he better be careful, he might have a little talking to too. Here it is.
Well, Wilson was the man who gave away the free kick in the first place, and then...
A little unlucky. I thought Williams came at him, and Wilson was going back at him after Williams became the aggressor. And, Peter Wilson a bit unlucky with that one, I feel.
Western Australia put Murray Rance to centre half forward, and John Dorotich has gone to centre half back to replace the injured Wayne Henwood.
Here's the tough little man who Tom Hafey said recently. He's a Brownlow medalist. If someone plays up with him, Tom's expression was he'll hook them back. Well, we've never doubted that with number 12. Been a sensation since he first appeared.
It's a tough thing to say about a Brownlow medalist, Dave.
Yeah, that's the way they should play, according to your friend the coach, and I'm sure he's right, actually, to give one back if he gets it. Out wide it goes to the flank. Rhys Jones long with great skill. Chance for Waitman. He will shoot for goal. He'll give away a goal to Royal. And that's the skills of Dale Waitman. Unselfish, made certain of the goal. He could have kicked it himself, I guess, 99 times out of 100, but fine hand pass. Royal's second goal.
And once again, David Rhys Jones set it up. He certainly has got excellent skills, and he's been in the thick of things since he was brought onto the ground. And of course, Dale Waitman always very, very unselfish. But Brian Royal with 2 goals, it's been a pretty good move to bring Brian on because he is a goal kicker.
Heavy rain falling at Subiaco Oval as Victoria lead 50-28. Real stack up in the middle. And young Grant Vernon comes in to ball it up.
And Williams and Wilson had another little altercation there. They are walking away side by side on the right-hand side of the screen. And they both got long memories. In the rain, the bounce again. Well played, Keane. Out to Wilson, beautifully tackled. Fighting for it, Holden. Holden then picks up onto left foot. Downfield it goes. In front, nicely taken by the fullback, Langford. And that was clever use of the body.
seen very little of Alex Oshenko. He had to pass a fitness test yesterday to get in. I wonder whether he is 100% fit. Oh, this is dropped red hot by Buse, giving Western Australia a chance. It spills out to Bairstow, who's buffeted over by Loveridge. Jenke comes back to Ray Jenke, but he fumbles the wet ball. Back in there is Jim Cracker. He loses it. Buse a chance for a tone. Ducks a high tackle, and Andrew Buse sprints away from them. Over the wing up towards half forward. Morris and Dorotich. Dorotich not quite, but will take the free kick. And a fight on between Russell Morris and John Dorotich. Now with a few helpers.
I don't think I'd pick one with Dorotich, would you, Drew? Russell Morris really outmatched physically by these centre-half backs. Fine driving kick. That was Salmon in front. Out wide from Healy. And there's a free kick underneath all that. I think it's Morris Rioli who'll take it. Williams and Rioli, a fascinating battle. The points with Williams up to date, but Rioli's always a contributor.
Brad Hardy on the bench now for WA.
Back towards, and nice mark in front. Was it Madden or Roos? From there downfield, and your chance to go a big leap, Rhys Jones. Oh, what a beauty! Over the top he went, and he's paid it. Well, umpire Clayton, I wasn't sure that he held it long enough, but what a spectacular leap. Look at him over the top. Yes, I think I'd pay it.
And he's going to get a 15-metre penalty. He'd taken the kick already, but Duckworth getting over the mark, and this brings David Rhys-Jones up just about over the centre. 7-8 Victoria, 4 goals for Western Australia. 11.5 minutes gone in the second quarter. Up to half forward flank. Harding. Oh, that was close to the line. It's going to be a throw-in.
With Simon Madden now at full forward, with Salmon on the ball. Keane comes in to dispute possession with Salmon. Over the back cleverly from Salmon, but it's picked up nicely by Wilson. Wilson down towards that centre-half forward zone. The run of the ball, the push. There's a push there and the free kick is going to be played.
Richard Dennis, I think, is it?
Richard Dennis there, the half-forward flank, has gone into full forward zone. He's such a lovely mark. He's about 6'3" in height, so I guess he can do it. And certainly he can kick the distance, and kicks it as straight as an arrow. It's touched on the line there by Langford. It's picked up there by Rance on the ground. Jim Cracker hooks it back and hooks it beautifully. Haven't seen much of James Cracker, but when we have, of course, it's been all done with class.
Well, it wasn't a very good tackle on Jimmy Cracker. You see here Murray Rance with that hand pass, and he really just threaded his way past the Victorian players there. There wasn't any real ferocity in the tackle there to allow Jimmy to just slip by. And of course, he just hooked it over his shoulder. A bit too easy, that one. I don't think Bill Goggin would have been very pleased with that.
That was WA's first score in the quarter in over 13 minutes. 16 points the difference. 50 plays 34. Victoria move forward through Williams. Kick well smothered by Dorotich. It comes to Neagle. Awkward wobbling old ball to centre half forward. Williams again. Once again a kick smothered. Out of defence by Holden. And this is close to the wing. Dorotich couldn't turn round on the wet turf. Picked up by Toohey. Long driving kick to Madden, but too wide for him. And the ball out of play.
And we see Michael Mitchell coming back onto the ground, and Hart is off. Quite certain why Mitchell was off in the first place.
Madden tries to get away with it, doesn't. But Duckworth been very quiet. Sent it back towards centre wing. Bad kick, Duckworth over the line by a long, long way. And the free kick will go to Merv Neagle. Neagle on the boundary line. Looks pretty tired, is our Merv. Played pretty well. Off goes with that rambling, rollicking-looking run. Sends a long one downfield. Madden's got Keane against him. Keane punched it and punched it very well. Mitchell is streaming towards centre half-back. Fine kick to the centre of the ground. Bairstow in possession and steadies.
15-metre penalty against Toohey. Bairstow goes wide. Oh, Mitchell got rid of it in a split second. Great play. Chance for Rance, but he cannot pick up the ball. Comes back to him. Now Rioli, 60 metres out. Down towards the pocket. Mitchell. Peter Mitchell takes the mark. Wilson rather, about 35 metres from goal, close to the boundary line.
What terrific play by Mitchell, though, Drew, because he really brought that ball from the back line right down to that half-forward line with a kick. He ran on, he then received the kick and then a quick hand pass.
Peter Wilson for goal. WA need it. Well, it could be a free here. Victorian free kick.
Salmon's in the ruck because Simon Madden is now resting at full forward.
It's a pretty ordinary tackling by Victoria that time, and Rance fumbled and fooled and tried to lose it. Rhys Jones almost outmarked that time. And here they go, nice football over the top. It goes from Wakeman, nicely picked up and long from Rhys Jones. Driving kick it is to Loveridge. Loveridge under lots of pressure. Kick off the ground by Osborne. He'll be tackled by Dorotich. Osborne quick out to the flank looking for Morris. Morris left-footed back. It's an awkward one. Will it bounce from Madden? It bounces there for Royal. Royal's got the chance. He's in lots of trouble. Turns it back to Loveridge. Loveridge swamped by Lester Smith. Royal again swamped. Great descent to football by the West Australians. And Lester Smith eventually out wide looking for Bairstow. Bairstow slicked to Mitchell. Mitchell out wide to centre wing. And a fumble there, and racing towards it now. We have another opportunity for Williams. He goes to the ground, and they cannot break away.
And no whistle yet. Charging through Osborne. Kept on going at Holden. Holden comes back to it. What a contest this is. Osborne once again. Once again, no free kick. They're just letting them play on, and eventually, maybe that was the 30th free kick in that played, and it's to Western Australia to be taken by Hardy. Oh, Lester Smith, and he's kicked into trouble. And now they might get out of it. For desperation, and throwing himself at the ball as Waitman, and wins the free kick through pure courage.
I think it's a very lucky free kick. I'd like to see that because through the glasses, it didn't appear to be a free kick. Dale just slid under the ball. I think Billy Duckworth would be pretty disappointed because I think Billy can hand it out a lot tougher than that.
Yes, it was amazing courage by Waitman. I agree with Kevin. Against Duckworth, it was a pretty doubtful decision. Waitman's kick is high, just off direction, through from one behind, and scoring is difficult at the moment. But Victoria are 7-9 to West Australia 5-4. That's 51 to 34.
The umpires let a lot of decisions go, and just quite surprising that he was able to pick that one. But now the ball is so greasy, it's very difficult for players to handle it, and obviously players are going to be in the clear and then lose control.
Big leap by Dorothy, but couldn't mark. Mitchell's hand passing has been sensational. Malaxos' kick juggled by Salmon just over the centre. All Western Australia on the ground. It comes out. Mitchell in there again fighting for it. Bairstow's been brilliant. Best on ground last weekend and going well again today. Narkle. Ruse with him. Oh, look at some of the body clashes. Ruse up the ground and Eagle. And now a bit of open space here for Victoria down the outer wing. Merv pops it up high. No mark comes to Di Domenico. He kicked blindly, just kicked it anywhere. And Lester Smith tidies up for Western Australia.
Cool and casual, drives at the half-forward line. Salmon in front, never looked like it. Hit out wide there from Frawley. From Salmon as the kick in mid-air. Nicely trapped by Holden down towards centre half-forward. Running with the flight of the ball was Frawley, who couldn't take it. Hughes out there, outpaced by Mitchell, but even contest, and the ball is buffeted over the line. It's out of bounds again. West Australia in attack.
Well, the rain stopped and the umbrellas have gone down, but it's left this ground very slippery indeed. Salmon in ruck. Finishes up with Hughes from half-back flank. With the hook round the corner, centering kick, misses Williams. Clean ball's Keane. Back comes Williams at it. But a clever tap by Keane to Malaxis, who changes direction. Narkle marks at centre half forward. Somebody's been down behind the play. Meantime, Narkle has the mark about 55 metres out and right in front. Did Dipper deliver one?
Against Russell Morris, actually, Drew.
Narkle leans back on this one. Gets mighty distance. It's just about there. What a goal!
Well, what a fantastic kick there by Phil Narkle. He's gone for the big top and really leaned back on this. He's had 8 kicks, 3 hand passes and 3 marks. And look at that big, could have even been a bit of a free kick there. I think But let's have a look at this here to Victoria. Certainly standing on the line, it looked as if it was Salmon, and he was pretty well manhandled down there. The umpire let it go.
Rucks again. Madden out wide, picked up by Neagle. Neagle awkward. In front, it should have been held by Salmon. The big fella then kicks it more height than distance. Underneath it, Holden running with the flight of it. Good, easy, but safe chest mark. He's about centre-half back. Kicks it out wide, looking for Keane. Keane's in great position too. Dipper comes in and frustrates him and frustrated him well. Hit out wide, and now there's a chance for Royal. Royal be gathered in, but Mainwaring misses him. Royal gives a hand pass across to Dipper, and it's not good. It's taken away from them by the desperate Rioli. Kicked off by Mainwaring. Madden there goes to the ground, hits it out wide. Wilson tackled nicely by Jenke. Still a chance for West Australia. Rioli with the ball emerges, but the umpires found a free kick just before that. And the whoos from the West Australian stand indicate their violent dislike of the decision. The free kick goes to Victoria, down to Dipper.
Di Domenico in between wing and half forward. Centering to centre half forward, punched away from Osborne. Duckworth there for Western Australia. Neagle lopes onto it, and perhaps a lucky kick to Waitman, who went down on his knees to mark close to the ground, and the man on the mark about 40 metres from goal. Waitman goalless so far, kicked 5 here last year, goes for the short pass and finds Royal about 35 metres out. 11 points the difference, so the quarter's been pretty level. Victoria led by 7 at quarter time, so not a lot of change in 21.5 minutes, but a chance for Brian Royal here to kick his 3rd goal for the term. He missed it. Royal now 2 goals, 1, and the margin 2 goals.
Waitman is the man who's given Royal 2 of those opportunities. One, he gave him a great hand pass, which made an easy goal. And that time was a clever one too. Let's watch now as Harding looks for a lead. He's going to kick it straight, almost straight down the centre. Madden was the man who almost took a good one. Free kick against Ischenko, who's been a very quiet player. Simon Madden doing most of the heavy work for Victoria. Drives a long one, looking for Salmon. An excellent kick, and Salmon can't hold the greasy ball. Nice slick hand pass by Morris. Loveridge fumbles it. Kick off the ground is good football by Williams, who's had 17 possessions. Healy gets it taken away from him to Narkle. Narkle boots to centre wing position in front. Chance there for Rioli. Rioli balks and breaks his way out of trouble, but then he's caught again. Rhys Jones, wonderfully skillful. Left foot pass is very poor. Malaxos misses what he should have got. Healy gets it over his head and does nothing with it. Holden boots him out of trouble, and Madden marks and plays on very quickly.
Kick by Madden is beautiful, and Osborne marks about 40 metres from goal.
Well, Simon Madden's been a marvellous player for Victoria, and we see Merv Neagle there limping around the boundary line, so that's 2 Swans players off the field, Wayne Henwood and now Merv Neagle, so could be some troubles there for Tommy Hapey and the fitness of some of his Swans players.
Kick by Richard Osborne, slightly to the left, so Victoria squandering their last couple of opportunities and not getting much of a break on Western Australia at the moment. The margin 13 points, and we're 23.5 minutes into the 2nd quarter.
About 18 scoring shots to 10. They should be further ahead, the Vicks. Harding this time long to the wing position. Di Domenico was pushed out. Umpire let it fly. A long one downfield. In front is Jenke. Peter Wilson giving him lots and lots of worry. Wilson gathers in nicely. An awkward-looking kick, and it's taken very safely there at the last line of defence. And Frawley. Down was Frawley, number 13. He's about half-back flank.
Now bright sun after it pelted with rain earlier in this quarter. Ischenko can't take the mark. Jimmy Cracker went without it. A paddle by Madden. Mainwaring over the top of the ball, and umpire Clayton calls for it and will ball it up centre wing outer side. Approaching time on in the 2nd quarter. Victoria leading by 13 points after they'd led by 7 at quarter time. Tapped down by Ischenko. And that'll be another ball up.
And it's Williams and Rioli who both just given every cent they've got in this first half. The opposing centre men fighting for it. Williams has had about 18 possessions. Just been in front, but not by much. Loveridge goes over the line with his opponent, Jim Cracker. Mitchell seems to have done most of the roving, so Jim Cracker we haven't sighted on.
bottled up on centre wing at the moment. Jenke hasn't had much of a great debut, Ray Jenke, really. And this is gathered by Brennan. He goes out to the opposite wing. That is a beautiful kick, let down by Mitchell. The slippery ball slipped out of his arms, and it was quickly socked away by Buse, who had a second chance at it. And Buse gets a pat on the head from David Rees-Jones. He's so quick, Mitchell. He got there, gave the beautiful lead, but just couldn't mark it.
There's lightning. Williams, very clever. Hand pass is frustrated. Diving after Dennis. Loveridge's left footer goes towards the boundary line and slithers over the line between centre wing and half forward flank with the Vicks in attack.
And Richard Dennis is off for Western Australia, and Wayne Hedwood has come back on, and he's gone down towards centre half forward.
Brennan intercepts Madden's tap. Kick towards the centre circle. Dipia Domenico first to recover. Gains 35 metres. Bounces off shins, comes to Malaxos. Fires out the hand pass to Rioli in space. Good kick by Maurice Rioli up towards half forward. It's thumped out of defence. Free kick given away by Frawley. And Wayne Henwood just back on the ground. He's gone from defence into attack. And he'll be kicking from... Oh, he's given it straight to the man on the mark, Frawley. You wouldn't believe it. And Frawley kicks back, and he's given it away to the opposition too, although Mainwaring dropped it. Sockers it up the ground. A bit of luck's of fortune there. Malaxos.
Henwood's limping. I think that might have been the reason he'd been brought back on the ground, but a discernible limp. Over the back it goes. A chance for Rees-Jones. Picks up cleverly. On the half-back flank, he sent it down looking for Loveridge. Oschenko's there above him and can't hold the greasy ball. Loveridge to the ground, and the big Russian will be caught by a tackle. He runs into a barrage of Victorian players, and ridden into the ground there was the West Australian. Dale Waitman looks for the free kick, and he's going to get it too. And that was an opportunity lost. Waitman now, that was against Duckworth. Waitman back towards big Paul Salmon. Salmon over the back was absolutely dazzling, and Morris has got a lot of time, and he needs a lot of time as he fiddles with it, then steadies and kicks for goal and does it well. And Salmon, as he so often does, gets it over the top cleverly. A dangerous player up forward. He seems to palm the ball better up forward than he does when he's on the ball.
Well, he's a very intelligent player, and we see Brad Hardy there on the boundary line, warming up to come back on. There we see the tap on, and of course Russell Morris very coolly popping through what is a very vital goal, and it's his second goal, particularly we're at the 30-minute mark of this second quarter. Henwood's an interesting one, Doug, because he kicked that with his left boot. Obviously, he's got a thigh injury or injury with his right leg, and of course he couldn't kick the ball. It seems strange that they brought him back on. Maybe Bill Duckworth should go to centre half forward because he's struggling on the half-back flank on Rees-Jones.
Well, as the spectators led off the ground, the Vicks back into attack here. Long penetrating kick by Loveridge. Oh, Salmon bowled over his opponent, and it'll be a West Australian free kick. And it comes back to Paul Harding. 59-40, so just now Victoria starting to get their dominance on the scoreboard, but still not as much as it perhaps should be. Oh, Narkle. Tackled from behind by Waitman, a beauty. And then umpire Clayton comes in and is going to ball this one up. We're well into time on 28.5 minutes played.
It was a beauty. Waitman's been a very inspiring captain, as usual, unselfish with all of his play. Madden and Oschenko, even Stephen. Williams tries to batter his way, and beautiful pass to Waitman. Waitman was too quick for Morris that time, and a very, very courageous dive at the ball by Mainwaring. Morris went over the top of him, and Mainwaring will take the free kick. And we're into time on, just ticking towards the 29-minute mark as Mainwaring is about centre half back, and he waits for the ball to come back from Brennan.
Breeze mostly across the ground. And he finds Dorotic about 30 metres in the clear. John Dorotic, a beautiful kick to half forward. Bairstow is there. It comes to the back. He chases after it. Buse is back there and takes the ball out of play 50 metres from goal.
Mainwaring has been an excellent player with 10 kicks and 4 hand passes, so that's 14 possessions up until half-time. Wilson been in everything, over the back with a hand pass, overrunning it then. Here's Buse, tumbled out of the way by Bairstow, who originally overran it. Opportunity lost. The ball will be thrown in once again.
West Australian coach John Todd in the leather and John Hayes in the tracksuit.
Main Waring's had a duel with Di Domenico, but occasionally he's drifted right down into the back pocket, so he's been changed into the back pocket and also played on the wing for a great part of this game, Main Waring.
Quick exchange of hand passing, and Victoria just coming out of defence just as Langford was about to get his kick away when the siren signals half-time at Subiaco Oval, with Victoria 8 goals 11-59, leading Western Australia 6 goals 4-40, but certainly still close enough to get one of these classic state of origin finishes here, the like of which we've seen plenty of times over the last few years. The goal kickers for Victoria, Salmon kicked 3, all in the first quarter. Royals got 2, both in the second quarter, and 1 each to Williams, Rhys-Jones and Morris. And for Western Australia, they've had singles all the way down by Mitchell, Cracker, Hart, Dorotich, Narkle and Bairstow. A 19-point lead to Victoria at half-time at Subiaco Oval.
Black and white days of 1972.
Distance behind him, he shoots to the open goal to bring up his 4th goal of the match. Tuddenham's kick travelling back toward the centre of the ground. Murphy accepting, but his kick is smothered. Greg had a chance. Using strength there. A good bump.
Mark picked up by Thompson. A hand pass out there to the Brio. He can't hold the ball. There's the chance now for Scott to get it. A hand pass back here to Western Australia. Picked up by Young. He runs, boots the ball up towards Smith and Southby. And then we see Sheedy coming in, can't pick up. Little Cable's got it now turned. A snap for goal, a left foot snap, it's a goal. Kept himself well within striking distance. Ball knocked out here to Murphy. Murphy drives the ball out towards Matthews. Matthews sends it out, couldn't hold the mark. There's a chance now for Victoria to go further forward out there through Hart. He fumbles the ball. Matthews backing up well. Picks it on the back flip that time, has a shot for goal. And it's through for full points. There's Cable still in the hands of the trainers. Ball kicked wide down towards that half-forward flank. The pack get up again. Chance for Polly Farmer to mark it. And that's Polly Farmer's mark. Australia Smith again. Not a very long kick there. We see Clark try to take the mark. A good play in the first quarter, but hardly sighted. Polly Farmer's got it now. A hand pass comes over to Cooper. He's grabbed, gets the ball back to Scott. He's in trouble. He turns, hooks it back for the goals, and it's through for a goal.
Making sure that they know he's there.
Very strong player, Sheedy, today, as Greg drives the ball back towards the wing position. On the member side, up get the pack. Stay at the ground was the ball kicked away here by Pagan. Pagan kicks the ball back towards half forward. McCauley loses the run of the ball. Picked up by Matthews. Drives it up to Nichols, and Nichols takes the mark about 25 yards out from goal, directly in front. About 25 yards out from goal, directly in front. The crowd hooting Nichols as he fires for the goal. But you can't put the big pro off the game, and he puts it through.
Looking for Miller. With him is Williams. Over the back it comes. Picked up by Ian Miller. The hand pass to George Young is good play. Young about 50 yards out. 40, 35. Under the boot from George Young. It's floating goalwards. It's through.
Up goes Noonan. Can't control the ball. Gives the handball away now. And it's kicked in by Francis Burke up towards full forward. They set themselves up there. They fly. Brown over the top. The ball comes to ground. In goes Rhodes. Rhodes onto his left foot. Has a pick at the weak white sticks. And it's going high. And I think it's going through. He goes towards the boundary line. He can't control it. Here's a chance now. Sikatosto back in the fight for things. Can't pick it up. Back there is Southby. He loses the ball now. He comes out of defence. Great play by the fullback for Victoria. Up towards Lawrence in the centre of the ground. Can't control it. Dempsey slips over. Winning in. Taken by Lawrence now.
WA players there. Picked up by Vic. Put it out towards Rhodes on the centre wing. Bartlett's there. With him is O'Brien in the back, and Bartlett must take the kick.
Oop, there's a punch up on. Oh.
Taken by Peter Stephen. He swings it towards the square. Lewis is in there with plenty of other players, and Southby once more brings it back again. Back it comes to Moss. Moss over to Greenwood. Greenwood about 30 yards out onto the boot. Quick snap from Greenwood. And
the ball is on the ground. There's we see Sheedy coming through. He can't get clear now. He is now as he kicks the ball back towards the wing position. Lawrence running after it. But he's intercepted there, Lawrence, but the ball is tapped over to Matthews. On his own, he has the bounce, 2 bounces. He's coming right on, runs around his opponent beautifully that time, Matthews. He goes for a short pass. It's a beauty. And he finds a little Bartlett there.
Taken by Max Richardson, a hand pass.
Kevin Bartlett, John Nichols, that was the way it used to be in the good old days, and Victoria always used to win the matches, or nearly always in those days. A bit different from the last 4 or 5 years when the Vics have won 3 of their last 9. At half-time at Subiaco, they might well be on their way to victory, though, leading Western Australia 8-11-59 to 6-4-40 by 19 points. We're going back now to our commentary position at Subiaco, where Drew Morfitt has our special in-ground guest for the day, Ross Glendinning, who's injured and can't play. Drew.
Well, it's a pity to have to interview you rather than seeing you out there playing. What was the problem? Did you actually... Western Australia 6-4-40, and it's a West Australian free kick out of the centre, and their skipper Maurice Rioli. Bright Sunno, he's another man who's kicked into the man on the mark, but this time Greg Williams cribbed a bit, and a 15-metre penalty against Greg Williams. Rioli takes it on the run while Williams was still arguing with the umpire. Inside half forward, clever tap on, but back into the pack. Comes back to Narkle. 55 metres out, standing start. Don't like their chances here. Hardy was beaten for height there. Mitchell at the fall of the ball, pulled off it. Malaxos, lightning hand pass, beautiful to Mainwaring. High, not enough distance. Now there a chance. Ishiko's there, oh, almost. Bairstow. Freak shot. Didn't get it back quite far enough, but a good effort from there. And Alex maybe should have taken that mark.
It's interesting to see Brad Hardy up on the forward line for the Western Australian state side.
Here comes Tui from the kick out, who drives a perfect pass straight to Waitman. Waitman busily off now in the centre of the ground, down towards centre half forward, in front, diving at it unsuccessfully. But I think there might be a free kick to the Vicks there. It's Royal. Royal, a good 80 metres from goal. Salmon's the target. Salmon, great lead. He really does lead with deceptive speed. Just ran away from his opponent that time, and another well-judged mark. The sun is out, incidentally, at Subiaco again, and this will give the giant Salmon the advantage of his great height and his great versatility, because he's not just tall, he is a player with quite good skills. There he is now. He goes to the rigmarole of rubbing as much moisture as possible off the ball, shirts, socks, sweater, anything he can touch. He's only about, I guess, about 35 to 40 metres from goal. It's a good-looking kick, and it squeezed through. Nope, it missed it.
That's his first misdemeanour. 3 goals, 1 to Paul Salmon. Just repeating the news that Tony Lockett couldn't take his place in the Victorian team after sickness overnight, and he's ill back in the hotel room. Hope he's all right. Little short pass in, dangerous, but free kick given away by David Rhys-Jones, and it'll go to Chris Mainwaring. And a 15-metre penalty against Rhys-Jones. Well, his last misdemeanour over here cost him $5,000. Out to Rioli from half-back flank, up towards centre wing, 2 against 2. Rance couldn't take the mark. Lightning hand pass out to Duckworth, who lost it in the tackle, and that will be a ball up centre wing.
And Hardy is playing in the forward pocket. Danny Frawley is picking him up.
Yes, John Todd was very impressed to hear that, or to see that Hardy had kicked 5 goals against Gary Ayres, who the West Australians have a very high regard for, and rightly so. So he's hoping that Hardy can pick the side up, I guess. It's nicely taken here by Healy. Healy downfield with a very poor pass, and it's taken on half-back flank. And it's Holden again. Had a good game and kicks this one nicely out towards Peter. Also been a good contributor. Wilson back towards centre half forward, in front, too much height for Mitchell. The mark was dropped when it should have been taken. Hand pass comes out wide and goes to Mitchell from Bairstow. Mitchell across, and in comes Rance. Rance across with a clever hand pass to Ichenko. That was brilliant, and an easiest of easy goals to the big Russian. And that was an excellent West Australian goal.
Well, the best passage of play by Western Australia, and started by Peter Wilson, and Murray Rance. Full marks to Murray there, because he set up that play and then finally gave that hand pass across to big Alex Ichenko, who has really been completely out of the game today. And Michael Mitchell also, a very, very good player in that passage of play. That's what they need if they're going to really get back into the game. Only 13 points the difference, but Victoria has looked the better side.
Yeah, not much in it. Comes out of the centre. Free kick here to Victoria. Williams copped a hard one from Wilson. From Murray Rance. And Williams goes with the hand pass. On to Neagle. Up towards centre half forward. Standing his ground, Salmon. But it comes down to Brennan of Western Australia. Kicks to centre wing. Madden lopes after it. Mitchell charged straight at him. That was good play, Madden to Buse. Poor pass by Andrew Buse. Intercepted down the outer side. Duckworth's kick up towards centre half forward. Oh, clever tap out. That was beautiful play by Paul Roos. Out to Tui. Along the ground to Dipper. Ball still a bit slippery, perhaps. Dipper Domenico's pass to half forward. All Victoria. Healy.
Healy to Waitman. Waitman slick to Osborne. Osborne a long shot downfield. In front once again is Salmon. Left foot snap. Missed. And it was beautifully missed. Beautifully smothered, I thought, for a start, and then missed.
He actually hooked it too far, Doug. he had the goal square open to him, but he just tried to hook it around far too much than what really he had to. It was just an error of judgment there by Salmon.
Dorotich out wide. Duckworth over the top, outnumbered 2-1. He keeps the ball in play. That's great football. The hand pass to Rod Lester-Smith. And Western Australia looking on the improve in this quarter. The mark to Bairstow, on to Malaxos. Beautiful pass. Oh, Mitchell's dropped an easy one at centre half forward. Hardy applies the tackle. It goes to Wilson, but he can't grab it in. Hughes is back there. Spins through, gets the ball clear. Under pressure, Frawley to Neagle.
Neagle's got an easy run. He says, go down in front and I'll give it to you, which he does now. Across to Williams, his teammate. Williams with the left footer is flawed, and Salmon. Williams' left foot pass was perfect. Salmon again, advancing down the field. Leads direct, very direct is he, straight towards the player who's kicking it. And if the ball's delivered well, it's a certainty. And now Salmon, can he redeem that last miss? Actually, he's missed a couple in this term. This is a very difficult one in the fact that it's about 55 metres. It's an excellent kick right in the teeth of goal. Over the top it goes from Rhys Jones, the clever man. And what a difference he's made. He really has played with uncanny skill.
Second goal to Rhys, and beautiful long kick by the big fish, and we see Keane there punching the ball back, and that enabled Rhys to snap that very good goal. But really Keane would have been better off in punching the ball through the goals, or just tapping his big fist over, because it was right on the goal line, and really by pushing it back he kept Victoria in the game.
The margin 20 points, a goal apiece in this quarter. Comes to Madden. And it'll be a Madden free kick out of the centre circle as Divya Domenico wanted to play on. Drove it long and Salmon took the mark, but it's coming all the way back to Simon Madden behind the centre circle. Nobody standing the mark. Oh, that's terrible play by Western Australia. Madden on the run. Salmon leads. Got there too late. And a fine mark by Dorotich.
Dorotich looks quite small standing there beside Salmon, yet really he's a beautifully built player, and a good kick it is too to Rance. Almost took a good one, taken on there nicely by Osborne, picked up by Dipper. Dipper sends it back and it's in the Keane direction, but Salmon is there too. It's punched down in front by Salmon. Hand pass comes across towards centre half forward, and Mitchell, very courageous. Down he went from a Simon Madden tackle, and the free kick will go to Mitchell, who's played with courage and skill.
Mitchell up to Bairstow, just over the centre. Oh, the hand pass is dangerous to Narkle. Royal intercepting the bouncing ball. And a beautiful pass to Waitman. On goes Simon Madden. Royal and Waitman does that. High to centre half forward. Wasn't a great kick by Waitman. Dorotich overruns it. In goes bustling Billy at the foot of the pack. And the umpire will ball it up centre half forward for Victoria. 67 plays 47.
It's not often have I seen Bill Duckworth not be a contributor. He's so tough and so talented, but today's been a poor day for him. Still there's time to go. Keane looks for the free kick, and so does Salmon, but it's going to go to Laurie Keane. Yurchenko has spent very little time on the ball. Keane is a very long kick out in the Roos direction. Roos punches away from Vanson, brilliantly taken by Jenke. Jenke tries to find Rhys Jones with the left foot pass. Rhys Jones keeps the ball in play, gathers in perfectly. Long hand pass doesn't do his side much good under pressure. It might be taken away there by Jenke again. Malaxos spears one out. Lester-Smith gets it downfield. Nice chance for Bairstow. Bairstow's kick is smothered, and there is the man himself, Rhys Jones. Out it goes to Waitman. Waitman cleverly across. Back it comes from Royal to Waitman. Waitman shoots for goal. Waitman is pushed in the back as he went to kick it, but the umpire let it go, and the opportunity is lost, and the kick was smothered.
Well, I think that Dale was very unfortunate not to get a free kick then, but great play by Greg Williams, who set that up with that magnificent smother on the centre wing position from Bairstow. It was a terrific play by Williams.
Harding straight up the ground. Laurie Keane marks at centre half back, slips it across to Narkle. Beautiful pass wide to Jim Cracker, who's been pretty quiet. Hughes bowls him over. Geelong, Hughes and Bruns beat Jimmy Cracker last Saturday, and Hughes doing another top job today. Jimmy Cracker, haven't seen too much of him. Ball out of play, centre wing.
Surprising how little of time Jim Cracker has spent on the ball. Normally a #1 rover. Well played that time to Mitchell. Here's Malaxos. Malaxos across, and it's a good one to Rance. Keane got the ball down very well to his rover that time. Now Rance tries a short pass to Hardy. Hardy's got the world against him and will take a free kick. Not allowed. Here's Bairstow. Tackle. Breaks the tackle well from Neagle. Shoots for goal. And he's missed it. Well, there's been some easy ones missed. Victoria 9-14-68. West Australia 7-6-48.
And Bairstow's second behind for the quarter, and that one was barely needed one by WA. And I think the umpire did a good job then with Brad Hardy, because he just stuck his head.
Kick in short, Jenke to Loveridge. Loveridge is kicked to half forward. Morris flying high. Dipper to Domenico. That was all Hawthorn from one end of the ground to the other. Dipper goes the paddle, but it's intercepted by Brennan. Great stuff. Onto Malaxos. His kick over the centre. Madden flies. Interference to Western Australia in that pack. And the free kick to Murray Rance. Rance inside half forward. Wilson at the back. Couldn't quite drag it in. He's outnumbered about 2-1. Now he gets some help. Well played, Bairstow from wide out. Close. Just offline. So he's kicked 3 behinds this term.
Hughes been an excellent player there in the last line of defence. He fought that one out pretty well. Bairstow also, of course. Langford not sure. Decides to kick it pretty long out there looking for Simon Madden. It's a good choice too. Madden marks in front of Wilson. The most experienced player on the ground is Simon Madden, who played 274 league games. Down towards Reece Jones, who goes the big jump. Unsuccessfully in front. Now at play on. Reece Jones hand passes out wide. Nice play Malaxos, who's gets some contribution out to Holden. Holden downfield to Bairstow again, and Bairstow having a good quarter.
He's been a good player all day for WA. Sandown medalist of last year.
15's been a penalty here against Tui. Mark Bairstow goes as long as he can. Lashenko's there, sandwiched. Easy mark, dragged down in front. Ruse. Sliding it across to Jenke. Madden at centre half back. And straight up the middle of the ground. So West Australians being assisted off by the trainers. Laurie Keane shows rover-like agility. Has to go backwards. Lester Smith, pinpoint pass. Narkle is setting it up down the outer side again. Mitchell on his own. Buse closes the gap. It's Jimmy Cracker. Buse recovers quickly and sees it out over the boundary line. And he's been doing a sterling job, Andrew Buse.
And hard warming up on the bench because Billy Duckworth is being led off the field by 2 trainers. So that's bad news for the Bombers.
And Henwood's on the reserve bench. He's also injured. Quick hand pass comes out to Royal. Royal then with his left foot centred down, looking for Morris, who's had trouble all day. Punched away by Dorotic. Picked up by Malaxos, who spears one back to Holden. Holden back towards centre half forward. In front Loveridge, but a great leap from behind by Rance. And that was David and Goliath, of course. And Goliath won it. Rance sends it downfield. Breeman's there at the moment. Punched down by Madden. Coming through strongly was Jenke. Madden, very bad hand pass. Out to Mitchell. Over to Ischenko. And they paid the penalty. Simon Madden hit it straight to an opponent. And big Alex Ischenko. And there's Bill Duckworth limping off the ground. And a wonderful opportunity now for West Australia to come right back into the match. The scoreboard shows Victoria 68 points to 49. And Big Alex comes in, kicks for goal and does it well. So it's now 55 points there.
That's the second goal for Ischenko this quarter because he took that easy hand pass in the goal square. But Murray Rance has made a difference at centre half forward for WA. He's played a very, very good first 15 minutes of this third quarter, and he's been a bit of a focal point, and he's ran around and he's really attacked the ball very, very hard.
This quarter, Murray Rance, 3 kicks, 3 marks, 2 hand passes. And the quarter in progress, just short of 15 minutes. Laurie Keane taking a long run at Simon Madden for the centre bounce. WA have come back with their second goal in the quarter. Kick 2, both to Ischenko, margin 13 points. It had been 19 at half-time. And Keane wins in the middle. Oh, Narkle, brilliant. Narkle again, following up. Then applying a tackle. Frioli in there as well. And the umpire's going to ball this up. Just signs of a bit of a resurgence by WA this term.
Well, they've attacked the ball pretty hard, and we see Peter Foster now warming up on the boundary line for Victoria, but they've attacked the ball. Mitchell's been a good player, so has Bairstow, and Rance has given them something on the forward line. And Ishenko, of course, with 2 goals, standing in the goal square, they have looked a better combination.
Herb Neagle fumbles badly, and Wilson takes him on. Wilson might win it too. Neagle's still got a chance, and they're punching and pushing, but the free kick is being awarded to Neagle. 2 fiery customers opposing each other there. Neagle across it goes to Madden. Madden will take an easy mark in the centre. On it goes to Jenke. Jenke should give it out. Oh, terrible. Keane gathers in beautifully. In a lot of trouble. Follows on. The hand pass was a shocker again. And the Victorians' disposal, they were lucky to get out of that one, has been very poor. And Hughes is to take a free kick.
Victoria under a bit of pressure at the moment. 13 points they lead. Good lead and mark by Salmon. Just kept on going, bowled over Mitchell. Off to Healy. He puts it out wide. Loveridge is there. Can't take the mark. Comes to Morris near the boundary line. Just about off his shin, that one. And it's gone through for full points.
Well, a miraculous goal there by Russell Morris. There was no angle to kick this goal. Richard Loveridge just couldn't take the mark, and there's Russell not really even looking at the goal, and look at the spin on that ball there. I reckon Derek Underwood would have been pleased with that one.
And Foster on the ground was in perfect position for the ball to be sent, and it would have made it an easy one, but Russell Morris got it. That's all you can do, and did it very well. Nicely to Williams. Williams been a dominant player. That left foot is not all that good, and being picked up by Mitchell. Mitchell gets past Rhys Jones, then gets a hand pass across to Brennan. Brennan to Narkle. Narkle steadies and kicks it high. Roos be penalised again. He is in great trouble against Rance. And this player whom we expect so much of, a real fairest and best type, is Paul Roos, has not played well at centre-half back. What a driving kick by Rance. Keane! Oh, he misses what could so easily have been his as he got Langford out of position. Might have pushed him just a little bit.
But Langford got his fist to the ball, Doug. Just touched it. It was a terrific deflection.
Wide lead by Madden. He drops the mark, still in the back pocket. Tries to get around Wilson. Good tackle. But the kick, perhaps fortunately, goes to Jenke at centre-half back. Support by Healy, but he doesn't go to him. He goes to Tui. Now it's Healy. Up to centre wing. To centre-half forward. Foster comes from behind. Stumped up the ground by Hart. Wide open here. Bairstow's found space all day. On to Narkle, who's been starring again. Narkle's kick up towards half forward. Keane has a chance to recover. There's so many of them there. Jimmy Cracker back to Narkle. He goes for a long one, but it's offline.
Oh, there was a wasted opportunity there for WA. They just seemed to get in each other's way, and then Phil Narkle hurrying his kick.
Very long left footer, but a very inaccurate one from Phil Markle, who they call Magic over here. Out to Langford. Langford beat. Rance again sends a long one, but kicks it very badly, and they're squandering opportunities. And they really are back in the match.
2 goals, 6 this quarter, WA. 2 goals, 3 for Victoria. Long kick to half-back flank. Bairstow, number 17. Phil Narkle's had 16 kicks and 2 hand passes with 4 marks. He certainly seems to grow in enthusiasm and class when he pulls on that West Australian jumper. The ruckman fight for it. Williams at ground level, slips it across to Healy. Down the outer boundary line, close to out on the full. It was. Rhys Jones might have given away the free anyway. It's a West Australian free kick.
Brennan playing very cleverly in front of Rhys Jones, a player of tremendous endeavour and character. There's Herb warming up at this stage, but the ball is in possession of Brennan. Brennan kicked towards centre-half forward. Nice leap that time and an excellent mark taken by Paul Roos. Hand pass is out wide, not a terribly good one, but Healy's in possession now as he got one across from Williams. Williams in the top possession getter on the ground. Healy has not been into his destructive best today. He's on the half-back line as he drives it very badly, and Dorotage punches when he might have marked. Victorian player ridden into the ground, I thought, that time by Cracker. Out it comes to Williams. Williams out the half-forward line.
And once again, Williams and Healy combining, but Healy loses it in the tackle this time. Dorotage picks up, he drops it. It's red hot in there. Bairstow, well played. Rioli had time. Up to Rance with Roos. Well, Rance applying the tackle, giving away the free kick. 74 plays 58, 16 points the difference. And in the match prior to this one, Victorian country defeated Western Australian country in the curtain raiser here at Subiaco Oval. A free kick to Paul Roos, up towards half forward. Foster outnumbered 2-1, but gets the ball to his Footscray teammate Royal. Royal on the run, dropping in a little bit short. It goes to the back, but it's all Western Australia on the ground. Harding back there. Good handling. Oh, but now the pressure comes. His hand pass straight back to the goal square, and Morris misses.
Missed. Well, what a golden opportunity lost there. Obviously, he didn't see the jumper and saw his teammate at Hawthorn and Russell Morris. Maybe he gave a call. It's a bit hard to see from the box, but it was unbelievable play there by Harding. And Shane Hurd is on the ground, and Merv Deagle is off for Victoria.
Harding down towards centre half forward. Ischenko's the man who tries to punch it out, but it's well taken by Foster. And Foster's strength and high marking are very necessary at this stage, where they're broken down apart from Salmon in that regard right in the forward line. A wonderful kick by Peter Foster. Two of them there, and Morris takes the mark. Well, he'll redeem himself this time, I think. The angles are cute, nevertheless, but he's very close on.
You even heard the shout then coming from Peter Foster. He picked out Russell Morris. That's where he meant it, and it went right to him, and he didn't let him down.
It was a beauty too, because it was a good 55 metres and maybe a little longer. Russell Morris shoots for goal. There's a bit of a roar. It's hard to see the angle, and the roar indicates he missed it. And opportunities have been squandered on both sides.
Well, Victoria's missed a lot of opportunities, Doug. We mentioned earlier where Richard Osborne, who's really struggled against Lester Smith today, has missed a golden opportunity of booting a goal, and Royal missed a couple, Dale Waitman. And of course now we see Morris missing what should have been 2 sitters in this quarter. So it's still giving Western Australia a chance to get back into the game.
Dorotic takes a splendid mark at half-back flank. Kicks low, tapped out of the air by Dippy Domenico, but it goes straight to Holden. His kick smothered off the boot, up short of half forward. Oh, good battle in there by Malaxos. Wilson attempts a socket. Malaxos a second chance. Close to the line and out of bounds. Well, the pressure in this quarter has resulted in Western Australia kicking 2-6 to Victoria 2-5, but it hasn't all been pressure, because some of them perhaps should have been through for goals.
Malaxos.
No whistle. Tapped out. Tui. Royal. Free kick was going to be paid. Advantage goes to Brian Royal, who fumbles, kicks close to the boundary line. Wide lead by Foster. Couldn't gather it in. And the ball out of play at half forward.
I was just going to say, Malaxos has done pretty well this quarter since he's come on with his endeavour and his very quick hand passing. Comes the big fella, Ischenko. Chance for Murphy, who hasn't been on the ground too often. He tackled Cracker when not in possession. Rioli goes down as well. Dipper Domenico picks up. Dipper now sent it long, down towards the half-forward flank. Over the back it goes, and Harding looks good. Tries to find Main Waring, which he does. Main Waring down towards where Murphy's got an awkward one. A huge leap by Rance. Almost successful. Rioli regains possession. Quick runners out wide. Tui then hooks it downfield, and the West Australian crowd are booing there, and the free kick is going to go to Foster, and that really is rubbing salt into the injury. There's irate people in front of us jumping up and screaming at umpire Clayton, but the free kick goes to Victoria.
Well, of course, what they were upset about was Main Waring was fouled after he kicked the ball originally, and then, of course, the umpire missed the other West Australian free kick, then paid the Victorian.
Kick by Peter Foster. Well, that's further salt for the wounds, and listen to the boos at Subiaco Oval to greet that Victorian goal.
And Grant Vernon, the Western Australian umpire, was the umpire in question there. Peter Foster has taken the place of Richard Osborne, who completely eclipsed by Rod Lester Smith, and since he's been on the ground, which has only been about 6 or 7 minutes, he's already given the forward line of Victoria a big lift.
Tremendous season, does it mean, for Peter Foster? He's one of the also-rans of football now playing for his state. Richly deserved. He's given Footscray a wonderful service this year, and he's had to battle long and hard to get there. Here they go again through Rioli. Umpire's whistle is blown, and the free kick is going to go back to Narkle. Narkle decides to hand pass to the running Mitchell, and he's the sprinter who can go, but he's gathered in. Sends it downfield, and Hughes goes up and marks. I thought the free might have been played downfield. He gets a short one out wide and is taken by Roos.
Roos over the top to Tui. And he can't get away from Bairstow. The crumbs come across the Western Australia. The hand pass by Narkle. Mitchell runs into a teammate. Picks out another one, but missed Jimmy Cracker. Clever tap. Rioli. Is that brilliance for you? 30 metres out, but Rioli has missed it.
James Cracker's little tap on him. Absolutely delightful.
Well, both sides have missed simple goals, Doug. Could prove very costly.
Yes, you can't say that either one side squandered. They both squandered so many opportunities. Here's a short one to Rhys Jones. Oh, what a bad kick. I know, I thought he was trying to find Matt, but it went straight out to teammate Neagle. So it was a good kick. Neagle kicks it long downfield. It's 2-1 against Victoria there. And the punch is over the line from Steve Malaxos against Murphy. And it's centre wing position.
John Todd looking a bit concerned. The margin just under 4 goals. Tap comes down to Waitman. Over the top to Murphy. Murphy playing for the free kick. Mainwaring beats him. Well, it could be in the back against Mitchell. It is. And the free kick goes to Neagle. Once again, the crowd in front of us standing up, not too happy with that decision. A centering kick by Neagle, virtually across the ground. Not too good since it went straight to Bairstow, but he couldn't control it. Off to Williams. Now Tui, the defender in attack from 52 metres. Long kick. Salmon. Goal. Paul Salmon's kicked 4, 3 in the first term, and that's his first since.
He's played a good corner though, Paul Salmon. He's looked very dangerous. He's led out a long way, and a couple of his kicks have fallen short. But he does look still very, very dangerous. But that was a Swans goal, virtually, set up by Neagle across the Williams, and Williams across the Tui, and that long kick into the square.
That was Williams' 27th possession. I think Salmon's missed his kick 3 behinds in this quarter, so he's really been in everything. Nice play, Malaxos again. In front is Buse, but look at the speed of Jim Cracker. Gets a hand pass out wide, and Malaxos got a short one. What fine football, and setting it up now. Coming in, shoots for goal as Bairstow, and at last he's kicked a major. He's been in everything, hasn't been able to convert, and that time the speed of Cracker started all off, and Bairstow converts.
Well, it's his 4th scoring shot for the quarter. He's kicked 1 goal, 3. But Jimmy Cracken, terrific little chip pass by Steve Malaxos. Really, I suppose Mark Bairstow could have made a certainty of it by just dropping the hand pass across, but he still put it through, so that's what matters. This quarter, Mark Bairstow has been a very good player. He's already had 9 possessions and 3 marks, although his opponent, Gerard Healy, also has lifted his game and has been a very good contributor for Victoria.
Deep into the 3rd term, past the 28-minute mark. Malaxos free kick. Yes.
And full marks to Malaxos because he's really put himself in, and he's been one of their good players.
Gee, how can Mitchell get that much space? Dances around one. Gets past another one. Left footer high and long, but nobody there for Western Australia. And Salmon, who kicked the last goal. The umpire's telling him to play on. Must have been touched off the boot. He gets the hand pass away to Langford. He's kicked the no-man's land centre wing. Mainwaring leads the race. Outnumbered 2-1. And he gave it straight away to Greg Williams. Now a chance for Victoria as Morris leads and slides and marks. Murphy approaches 50. Went a long way. Just went as long as he could with the kick as well. Hart with a bounce. That's confidence out of defence.
Oh, dashing football, and what a fine kick it is too, because leading in the race is Bairstow. Breaks a tackle and gets past them all. Out to Jim Cracker in the open. Jim Cracker's got Roos in front of him, drives it down, looking for Laurie Keane. Keane lets it go, but it went through for one behind. I don't think the big fella could have reached it, but the last moment went past him. He was hoping it would get through. It didn't. One behind.
The kick in. Well, set up an eagle, but he just got a fingernail to it. Tapped away by Wilson. Goes to Buse. Good poise by Buse to find Williams. Further good poise by Williams. Jenke. That's great play by the Victorian defenders. Jenke's kick a little bit off the side of the boot, but it was badly missed there by Dorotich. Comes to Russell Morris, who takes a clip round the ear and will take the free kick.
Dorotich waging a one-man war there on the half-back line, particularly against his Hawthorn opponents, who we'll see plenty of throughout the season. Downfield it goes. Almost Madden. Waitman fights for it. Madden hits it, so does Lester Smith. Brilliant Madden as he got it away. Wakeman in trouble. Hurd looks for it. And here's the dash once again. Breaking through is Hart, who's showing all the speed and all the cheek, and sends it wide downfield. Up goes Frawley. Misses what he should have taken. There goes the siren as Bremen kicked a long one for Golden. What a long one it was. But it was off direction. Siren had gone, and at three-quarter time, West Australia are 9 goals, 12-66, trailing Victoria 12-16-88.
So a margin of 22 points now to Victoria. So they won the quarter by 3 points, having led by 19 at half-time. Leading goal kickers for Victoria. Salmon has 4 goals, 2 apiece to Royal, Rhys-Jones and Morris. And for Western Australia, 2 of their players have 2 goals, Bairstow and Ashenko. So 22 points the margin. Can Western Australia come back and get within a kick? And we'll be back here at Subiaco Oval shortly.
Heroics are for mugs and wallies.
Okay, match about to resume fairly shortly. In the meantime, we can take you down to the boundary line and John Bell. Well, sorry about that. Apparently an audio problem down there with John. We'll see if we can fix it.
I think we should mention. I think we should mention also that Rod Lester-Smith has done a marvellous job for WA playing across that half back line, and it's good to see Rod back in form because he's had a lot of injuries at Hawthorn over the last couple of years, and his performance has been very encouraging. Disappointing players today for WA, Drew. Brad Hardy been disappointing. One little part in that second quarter where he had a few touches, but that quarter he was put down to the forward pocket but failed to lift WA forward line.
Let's try him again. Here's John Bell.
Thanks, Drew. I think Gary Buckenara thinks he's jinxed today. Gary, can WA come back into the game?
Well, one can only hope, but let's, I'd say Victoria at this stage look very good. You know, they're moving the ball very well across the centre line, and they've got something to kick to up forward, whereas the WA players are a little bit static, and we haven't really got a focal point up forward at the moment. So one can only hope that we can get a bit around midfield and force the ball and get our running game going, because we're not just running hard enough at the moment.
Yeah, you obviously one of the players that have been missed. How close were you to playing?
Oh, reasonably close. It was touch and go, but this morning after yesterday's training run, it was just a little bit tender to touch in my thigh. So, you know, you can't carry injuries into these type of games because the pressure's so, you know, it's so intense. So you always get caught out if you try and do that. So better let someone play who's 100% rather than 90%.
I thought some of the WA players close to the ground did pretty well in that third quarter, but WA didn't get value for their shots at goal in that quarter.
Yeah, no, we were a little bit inaccurate around goal, and you know, we should have kicked a few that we ran into open goals, but let's hope the last quarter might show something, that players might get on target, get a few quick goals and get their tails up.
Well, it was a really close last quarter last year. I think the lead changed 6 times. You kicked the winning goal. Do you think WA might get the chance to get there and get close again this year?
Well, I think the first 10 minutes will tell the story there. If Victoria can consolidate, well, WA will find it very hard. WA need a couple of quick early goals, and if they can do that, they'll get their tails in the end with the home crowd behind them. It always gives you an extra leg.
Good on you, Gary. Gary Buckenara. Now we go back to Drew Morford.
And during that third quarter, certainly the West Australians squandered opportunities with 3 goals 8 to the Victorians scoring 4 goals 5. So it was 9 scoring shots for Victoria, 11 to Western Australia. But actually Western Australia lost the quarter. So I thought I saw signs of a revival there from Western Australia. Doug Hayward, if they could get a bit accurate, I just don't reckon this is all over yet.
No, I agree, Drew, because we saw signs there when they stream into those open spaces with their amazing speed. Mitchell and Jimmy Cracker and Bairstow incidentally been one of the top possession getters. Greg Williams, as he so often does, with about 26 or 27 possessions being the top on the ground, but there's not the slightest doubt they could come back into it. Victoria relying very heavily on Salmon, and I just stress very bad luck for West Australia that Henwood went off after a brilliant first quarter in which he had 8 possessions.
Victorian umpire Ian Clayton about to start the last quarter. Victoria leading by 22 points going into the last term. A chance for a rare victory over here. Hurried kick out of the middle by Jim Cracker. Western Australia straight into attack. Holden up towards half forward. The ball bouncing free. It gets through a pack. Picked up by Bremen. Chance to get his first goal, but he kicks across the face. Got good distance with the kick, but brought up and behind. A difference a goal might have made in the opening 30 seconds of the term.
It sure would. With 22 points there, what was then the difference, it's now 21. And they went to attack immediately. Long downfield, looking for Simon Madden. Ischenko is there with him. Holden's the man who leaps high above the back. Punched out wide and well played, big Laurie Keane. Awkward one, and it's nicely frustrated by Hughes, who's been a brilliant defender. He sent it downfield. Here's an opportunity for Foster, but he misjudges it, and the lead is there for Lester Smith. Salmon comes to take him on. Harding's doing the shepherding, and Lester Smith, a very cool, methodical player, then finishes it off superbly and gets the pass out to Hart, who's looked good.
Oh, and Mark Bairstow, absolutely slaughtering them in the middle of the ground, Mark Bairstow. I don't know whether a little look with the eyes constitutes a play on. Doesn't in the eyes of Clayton, and he gives him a 15-metre penalty.
It would have been murdered with umpire Clayton if he had taken that one. Wide out it goes. Good leap, but a very fine mark taken by Neagle. Neagle's on half-back flank, so the Victorian defence is under pressure. Looks for Foster. Foster's in great position. What a strong mark it was too. Hand pass to Healy is dangerous. Back it comes to Foster. It wasn't Foster, it was Tui who kicks it over the line with a very bad kick, threw his arms to his head in disgust, out of bounds on the full, and the free kick will go there to West Australia, John Dorotic.
He's really struggled today, John Dorotic. He looks like he's just down on confidence, Doug.
Just a bit careful, yes.
15-metre penalty brings him between half-back and the wing. Kick up short of half-forward. Western Australia moving forward into attack again. Jenke. Subterranean hand pass to himself, but it's helped out of bounds by Peter Wilson, and we'll have a throw in at half forward for Western Australia. Well, 21 points the difference. It can be caught up in modern footy.
And in front was Keane again. Mainwaring dodges, hand pass out into open territories. Brilliant football. Bairstow out wide, and here's danger. Morris Rioli from about 35 metres out, difficult angle, kicks it superbly. There's the talent. Captain of West Australia. That's a clear indication what the West Australians think about him. A wonderful goal there.
You see the quick hand pass from Mainwaring to Bairstow, and then on to Morris. And Morris there just angled that ball. It was on the angle, he just angled it so it would come back in. And that's the goal they needed, because that now is going to lift them. The crowd, you can see, is starting now to get behind them. And this is a trying time for Victoria.
15 points the difference. Morris well gathered, and a turn on the left boot, long distance. Salmon, but he's outnumbered 2-1. Mainwaring for Western Australia pops it out wide, and it looks like the West Australians have grown another leg. Home crowd advantage important to them, and Bairstow's been absolutely superb.
Yes, he's picking up bundles of possessions. A bad tackle by Rhys Jones, a professional one, I guess, but it's cost him the 15-metre penalty. Gives them time to steady the Victorian attack. In front, the fine mark taken by Brennan. Bruce came in late on the scene. Brennan, a tough customer. Downfield it goes. Oh, good leap by Wilson. Just missed at the last moment. Nice play, Neagle. On to Healy. Healy's got time to run. Rioli comes in to take him on, and Healy kicks to the boundary line because there's nobody there to kick to. Bairstow's there. A tackle by Foster. Well done, Foster. But nice play, and eventually downfield we come from Hart.
Well, Hart hasn't been on the ground very often, but what he's done when he's been there has been sensational. Kicked the goal with his first kick.
2 lightning dashes out of defence and just before three-quarter time.
15-metre penalty to Tui. Up towards half forward. Thumped to the front by Western Australia. Things perhaps going their way a little bit. Lester Smith back to the centre. Jimmy Cracker backs into him. No whistle.
Bad decision.
Picked up by Hurd, booing around Subiaco Oval. The kick back to centre half forward. Keane in front, can't take the mark. Salmon loses it in the tackle. Keane back after it. Oh, luckily out to Malaxos, and back they go. And the mark dropped by Madden. In goes Cracker for the tackle. It spills clear to Jimmy. Gee, it's tough now. The hand pass comes out wide to Healy, who's kicked close to the boundary line. Morris and Dorotic. Dorotic keeps it in.
Too strong, Dorotic, for Morris that time. Down it goes to the half-forward line. Beautiful Narkle. Narkle steadies, drives it down in the danger zone. In front is Langford. goes towards the boundary line and eventually taps it over the line out of bounds.
Got two great pieces of play. That Dorotich steal on the boundary line, that one-handed pick-up by Phil Narkle. They call him Mr. Magic here, don't they, Doug?
And deservedly.
And Western Australia have had most of the attacking in this last quarter, and they're in attack at the moment. Tui out of defence. Diving, oh, that's an excellent mark by Johnston. Haven't seen much of the Dominator, who went off in the first quarter. Johnston with a 15-metre penalty up towards centre wing. The margin is 15 points. The kick towards half forward. Thump down. Waitman over the ball. Williams hand pass blocked by Keane. Well played, Laurie Keane. And gets the free kick against Greg Williams.
He's amazing with the skills. He's the tallest man on the ground, but at times he really is quite amazing the way he handles the ball on the ground. That is not good. What a pity, because he can kick the ball thumping distances. That was a careless kick over the line. It goes out of bounds.
He didn't even go back then, Doug. He just stood there and swung his leg at the ball. Very undisciplined kick.
Wayne Johnston to take the free. Up towards centre half forward. Foster is there. Spoiled by Lester Smith. Off the ground, Healy. Straight to Mainwaring, and then Mainwaring applies the tackle. And West Australian umpire Grant Vernon says,
Holden pushed the umpire.
With the ball. That's very silly play by Craig Holden.
Ball up at centre half forward for Victoria. They need a bit of a steadier at the moment against a fired-up West Australian team. It's a West Australian free kick. Even though Keane got a quick kick away, it wasn't really to advantage, and Holden will take the free.
Well, that was interesting. Craig Holden really very annoyed and very unwisely pushed the umpire. The umpire was charitable to him. These have been a number to be taken from that one. He kicks it down to the centre of the ground. Roos in front position. Over the back, it's anticipated by Neagle, but in bundles of trouble. Williams kicks off the ground very cleverly, and Murphy's got the run on Mainwaring. He'll give it a big one, I think. A big one it is in the salmon direction. Harding's in best position, and Harding takes a splendid mark.
That was a beauty. Oh, West Australians in numbers out here unmarked. Dorotich or Malaxos could have raffled that. Dorotich had plenty of time. Up to the centre of the ground. All Victoria at ground level. Johnston to Williams, but he had to go the soccer. Couldn't wait for it to bounce up. Mitchell, good gather. Well, beat one, but gave the hand pass straight to Healy. 55 metres out. Salmon in the goal square, and Osborne over the back. Salmon doing his own roving. Hooks back, missed. It's Victoria's first score in this last term, and we've been playing almost 8.5 minutes.
And the Giant has kicked 4 goals for. Done his little spell on the ball when Simon Madden's had a rest. And in difficult conditions, they're pleasant conditions now. We had driving rain at one stage. Has been one of Victoria's better players. Not a good kick, but Rioli misses an easy one. Then he's tackled. Still got time to break away, and his teammate Dorotich got on his road and gives Victoria an opportunity through Johnston. Dorotich is enjoying bundling him over the line. He went straight into him, and I think he was a bit unlucky to be giving away free kick there, and the Dominator takes it with pleasure.
Wayne Johnston in between the wing and half forward. Keane is there, and Salmon comes to the front. Healy thumps on. Lester Smith, clearing kick. Dorotich has got to do the business here. Johnston, his Carlton teammate, spoils him. Oh, Dorotich, well played. Rioli over to Bairstow. Bairstow had to wait for the hovering ball. Narkle gets bowled over. Hurd, sweeping hand pass to Madden. Madden awkward off the left boot. It bounces to Greg Williams. Oh, he beats Dorotich easily. Williams, a great pass to Salmon. Salmon quickly, oh, he's kicked into the man on the mark. It's happened about 3 or 4 times today. Harding to Malaxos, back to Harding. Put Harding under pressure, back to Steve Malaxos. It's going to be a West Australian free and a 15-metre penalty.
Yes, this free had gone before Malaxos had given it away. Harding kicks to centre wing skillfully. Mainwaring takes the mark. He's got a few options. Out to centre wing it goes. Hart's the runner. Back it comes to Mainwaring. Trouble. Gets a hand pass out. This will be real trouble. Roos comes in. It's hit out back and it comes. Here it comes Roos. Centre driving down to the half-forward flank. Healy gathers well, but good tackle, Lester Smith. A very good tackle, and the free kick will go to Lester Smith, who's been a top player. Play on, advantage rule in the centre, Rioli.
Malaxos been a good player. That's a poor kick. Narkle a good gather. His hand pass went behind Rioli. Narkle kept going with Hurd. Well played by Narkle. No whistle. It comes out here to Johnston. Oh, up over the wing, and Healy takes a good mark. Well, Victoria struggling. They've managed just one behind for the quarter, and we've been playing almost 11 minutes. In the forward pocket, unmarked, is Brian Royal. Waitman leads in. Oh, yes, easy to Dale Waitman, and fancy him being given that much latitude, and he's marked 30 metres from goal.
Well, Western Australia let themselves down badly by some poor disposal and going too short. They've really undone a lot of their good work in this quarter. They just can't penetrate across that half court.
Waitman for goal. Hit the post. And the Flea, who kicked 5 here last year, has kicked 4 behinds today.
And there's just 11.5 minutes gone, so there's plenty of time for the West Australians, who at this stage are looking slightly the better side. Kicks downfield. Williams. Magnificent player. I'm sure Paul Salmon would like to transport him up to Western. He's given him a couple of superb passes today. Williams decides to kick it long. Not covering off straight. Not good. Straight to Keane. Go! Well, did his best to drop it.
Yeah, there's no one to do.
Western Australia still within 3 goals. They trail by 17 points.
Hey, Salmon.
Salmon bowled over Keane after he got rid of the kick, and it's being relayed up the ground. And the free to be taken by Rod Lester-Smith. Into the centre. Bairstow seems to have owned that on his own today. Bairstow long kick the full forward. Freeman underneath it. Made it easy for Crawley.
Crawley did it very well. Then there's open spaces of Eagles out there. Eagle just took it before Mainwaring comes crashing into him. Williams has gone to 31 possessions for the match, 16 kicks and 15 handballs. And Eagle kicks it down looking for Simon Madden. Madden thumps it over the back very cleverly. Nobody at home. Royal will lead Dorotic to it right on the boundary line. Keeps it in play cleverly. Victorian players everywhere. Socket off the ground. And nice football by Healy. Looks for a long hand pass out wide. To Murphy. Back it comes. And Royal steadies and shoots for goal and does it brilliantly. Nailed it. That's an important one. That's his third.
Very good play by Royal, because he led Dorotic to the ball, then kicked the ball back into play. And we can see the long hand pass coming back from David Murphy, who's had a pretty ordinary day, but able to combine then with Royal to pop through a vital goal, because one had the feeling, Doug, that if Western Australia had got a goal, that the roof would have been lifted off the grandstand here to give them the support with a run home.
Well, the margin 23 points, so Victoria have actually won the quarter now by a point. Narkle out of the middle. No mark to Langford, but it comes back to him. Hurried left footer. Not great distance, so he does pretty well to get it to centre wing. Good pick up by Osborne. And under pressure from Brennan, he had to tap away and the ball out of play.
Osborne's strength pretty important on this forward line, where Russell Morris has had trouble physically. He's done some nice things, but physically at centre half forward against a strong player like Dorotic. Here comes Malaxis, who boots it back, and here they go. Missed by Bairstow. There's players everywhere. Mitchell out wide. Nicely done, Rance. Favours his left foot, but kicks it wide when maybe he should have kicked it long. Bill Duckworth's on the ground, and it goes over the line out of bounds. And a free kick is being looked for there by Langford. It's not to come to him. It'll be thrown in.
About 30 metres out from goal, Western Australia in attack. Good use of the body by Rance, but it's picked up by Neagle. Back to Roos, under pressure, hits the turf. Gee, they're under pressure. Bairstow, number 17, but went too far for the ball. Hughes has been excellent in defence. Comes outside of half-back. Mainwaring measures off the pass, it's good. And Bairstow again. What a game he's played. Inside 50. Not without a chance to score.
It's kicked 2-4.
Doesn't go for goal. Goes for the lead of Mitchell, who couldn't take it. And the ball's out of play, and it's about 25 metres away from goal, so that was really the long way home.
Well, he should have went straight for goal. There's Brad Hardy looking very disconsolate on the bench with Wayne Henwood.
Yes, he spent a lot of time on the bench. Here's Mitchell. Streaks away. Tries to hand pass, does successfully, in trouble. Good strong play, Victoria. Roos in the thick of things, boots it out wide, and there's nobody at home except Mainwaring. gathers it in well, hits it out wide, plays on with himself, and then there's another Victorian defender comes in and takes them on in the person of Neagle. Mainwaring goes sprawling over the line. Good, solid defence by the Victorians.
Played it well then. 96 plays 73, and we're at the 15.5-minute mark of the last quarter. Comes back to Mainwaring. A centering kick. Well, he meant to centre it, didn't really come infield, and the mark to Roos close to the boundary line.
Paul Roos playing a very steady last quarter. Just when they need him. Roos sends it back towards centre wing position. Madden goes the punch over the back. Williams with a great long hand pass wasn't all that good, but here they go through Murphy, and Murphy's a speedster. 20 is gone, can go another 10 or 15. Looks to hand pass over the top to Healy. Healy's on a very difficult angle, across to Waitman, danger. Players everywhere, Waitman steadies, shoots for goal, hooks it across the face of goal, not a good one. Out of bounds on the foot.
Just can't find a goal today, Dale Waitman. The kick in. Jim Cracker leading to it, and the backspin helped the ball stay in. You're in trouble. Outnumbered 2-1. He tried to hand pass around Hurd, but gave it straight to Osborne. Foster, 55 metres out. Wobbly old kick. Comes to the back. Should be a Victorian goal, but they couldn't get it through to Waitman. Comes to Dorotich. Not too good off the left boot. There's nobody there except Narkle, but it'll beat him over the boundary line in between half-back and the wing.
That looked like a tired man's kick, that one of John Dorotich. He's had lots of time. He's normally a glorious left footer. And he really flumped that one. Keane and Madden, even. Free kick to Rioli. Against Wayne Johnston.
He's got the cramp, I think, Doug.
There's a spectator in front of us, Rioli now.
And Rioli just forward of half-back. Towards half-forward, Tui, easy mark in front of the pack. Fair bit of the pace has gone out of it now. They're tired because most of them had to play last weekend. And for a lot of these Swans players and Eagles players, of course, they played on Sunday. Through goes Richard Osborne from centre wing. Back to centre half-forward. Salmon one out. Thumps to the back. Chance here for Victoria. Murphy and Waitman both there. Waitman hangs back, but that was good defence by Hart to rush that one through for a behind.
It was good play by Hart, because one mistake and we would have snapped on a goal there, the Vicks.
He anticipated perfectly the Salmon technique of thumping the ball over the back, which the Victorians ought to know better than him. A big leap is far too early by Victoria. Here's Foster, fumbles for once, regains possession. Out it comes. Steadied is Wayne Johnston. Wayne Johnston, a magnificent left footer, right through the middle, and that's made it tough for West Australia. And the Dominator, who's one of the best left foot kicks in the game, and one of the real fellows who's when the going gets tough, the tough get going, puts it through, and that's a good one.
Well, 5 goals now. And certainly Wayne Johnston, who didn't have a very good first quarter with Michael Brennan playing on him, but since he's come back onto the ground, this final quarter has been pretty lively, and once again, as you said, Doug, a beautiful shot at goal.
Victoria have won every quarter, and they now lead by 30 points. Shane Hurd out of the middle. Good distance from a standing start up towards centre half forward. Comes back to Lester Smith. Nobody there for Western Australia. Tui. It was going to be a free kick behind play for an illegal Shepherd. He allowed Tui to go on with it. Johnston couldn't take this mark under pressure from Brennan, and the ball out of play. We're approaching the 20-minute mark in the last term, and considering that Western Australia have kicked just 10 for the match, you couldn't see them getting 5 from here to get level or win.
Very quiet crowd here in the West Australian Subiaco Oval at the moment. Mitchell to Brennan. Lester Smith runs into a very strong, determined tackle. Brennan kicks off the ground. Malaxos like lightning to Narkle. Narkle be met by Healy and met very well. Healy quick to Williams. Williams out wide is not good. Brad Hardy on the ground. Dodges, goes again. Caught. Beats 2 or 3 of them. Hooks it back down towards centre wing position. From behind, a huge leap made that time there by Roos. Bairstow on the centre, thinks a great punch is magnificent. Out to Jim Cracker, who can keep going downfield, steadies, kicks for goal, and kicks it very straight.
And what a sensational play by Peter Wilson. That thump on was absolutely magnificent. That was virtually nearly the play of the day, because he must have just caught a glimpse of Jimmy Cracker have missed that thump that would have went every piece of 25 metres. And that was terrific peripheral vision by Peter Wilson and executed superbly. And Jimmy just popped her through. And you never know, 4 quick goals. They're capable of getting quick goals to WA side.
Victoria out of the middle. And it comes up here to Royal. Royal's kick is long. Too long for Salmon, but he has a chance to run straight at it and go goalwards. He fumbles. Oh, Harding, well played. To Mainwaring. Maybe still a chance for WA. Mainwaring, good pass. Malaxos, centre half back. Hello. Greg Williams has just put down his opponent about 20 metres away. Mitchell. And they're into it. Meanwhile, the play up near the centre of the ground, all Victoria. Royal slips the hand pass away to Murphy, and while players are fighting, this could be an easy open goal for Victoria. What a kick by Murphy. Osborne! Not quite. Murphy's kick just offline, and there's a fight going on back at centre half back, with a lot more players getting involved in it now, and just starting to break up.
What Tom Hafey said was true. He said if he gets pushed around, he'll hook someone. I'm not saying he hooked then, but he was in the middle of it. Dorotic was there as well. Bairstow playing in the loose man to perfection. Sends it out wide where Paul Roos will go the big leap. Unsuccessfully, almost taken by Rance. Williams absolutely superb once again. Out to Neagle. On it goes to Wayne Johnston. Johnston sends a towering torpedo, and Salmon's marked. Well, it's a great thing. An old friend of mine, Noel McMahon, used to say you can cover a lot of sins if you kick it a long way, and that's exactly what Wayne Johnston can do. He hasn't had many touches, but he really can kick it long, and wonderfully anticipated by this number 22, the Giant, who inexplicably likes rucking better than full forward. If you could play full forward like that, you'd be a certainty to kick 100 goals if he stays there all the time. Comes in and shoots for goal. He's kicked 4-4. He's now kicked 5-4. And the party's over. Not a sound from the crowd as the goal went right through the centre.
And Alan Jeans once said, Doug, that as the game progresses, quick players get slower, but tall players don't get shorter. And I think there's an indication that Salmon, as the game has progressed, he's still 6'9", can still put up his hands and take a mark over the top of everyone else. And in the long run, that's what matters, because he just popped through goal number 5 to seal it for Victoria. Silly play before by Western Australian players to be wrestling at centre half back. 3 of them wrestling with Victorian players when the ball was still in the area. They were lucky that Victoria didn't kick a goal then.
Good distance by Hardy's kick after winning the tap from Keane. Oh, clever hand pass back to Cracker. He's dodging and weaving 25 metres out. He goes for the hand pass, and that's a goal from right in front.
Bairstow.
Mark Bairstow, who gets his 3rd goal for the game. And whereas you perhaps could forgive Western Australia for going, oh, well, we've tried hard, but we've lost it. They've hit back a couple of times.
Yes, well, Jimmy just popping across, and Bairstow has been a terrific player, Doug.
Yes, I was just going to agree. Drew's been talking about him all day, but he just gets better and better. And you can see why he won the Sandover medal here last year. And I think in only about his 2nd season of football, 23 possessions has he had, 16 kicks, 9 marks, 7 handballs. Up go the big fellas once again. Hurd fights for it. So does Keane. Played Dorotic. Awkward hand pass. Hardy very clever to Malaxos. Malaxos out in the dark spaces where lurking there is one by the name of Jim Cracker. Jim Cracker's played his best football in the last term. He'll be just about on the 50-metre mark as he tries a short pass and does it nicely. Guess who? Mitchell. Wonderful understanding between these two. Mitchell tries a short one across, very comfortable. Oh, what a bad miss there by Rance, who's played so well. And I think the ball will be bounced here at centre half. Forward for West Australia.
Well, we mentioned before, Doug, that they've had a lot of opportunities, the West Australians, in this quarter, but they've continued spoilt their play by poor disposal, short kicking, and just fiddling around with the ball.
Another chance for Western Australia. They're in attack. Whistle's gone. It's a West Australian free kick against Simon Madden, who doesn't like the decision of umpire Grant Vernon, and towers over him as he gives him a full mouthful, but it's a free kick to Murray Rance.
Very doubtful, wasn't it?
Rance just about right in front and about 30 metres out, and he steers it through. Western Australia have kicked the last 2 goals. We're at the 25-minute mark plus 3 seconds, so a bit of time left. 91 plays 110.
just over 3 goals. It doesn't appear to be enough time for them, Drew, but they're going to fight it out right to the end.
That 3 goals won will feel a lot nicer for them too, Kev. And Healy's taken one.
He clashed with the boundary umpire, bringing the ball back. He was running with the ball and he wasn't watching. And the 2 players both crashed, or the player and the umpire crashed into one another. And you see the umpire now being spoken to by umpire Clayton because he's badly gashed his eye.
He's got a big egg under his eye.
Well, what an extraordinary thing to run into a player like that.
He's got to stay on.
Well done.
I tell you what, you're going bad when the boundary umpire starts clocking you, don't you, Doug?
Be unlucky.
Hey,
yep.
I bet you before Jared Healy played today, he didn't realise that the boundary umpire was going to deliver his hardest blow to him.
That might be a first. And time on we are, incidentally.
I think the boundary's in a lot more trouble than Jared Healy.
Yes, it was just an unfortunate accident.
There's umpire Ian Clayton. 6'3" of him. He's very tall. Whereas his compatriot with him is quite short, the West Australian umpire Vernon. These are 2 big ones. Madden, brilliant. Lost that time by Hughes on the ball. The free kick is going to go to them. And it's Wayne Johnston, who's played a very fine 15 minutes. And Salmon will be his target, I think, but Salmon's got 2-1 against him. Foster's also there, Salmon up above. Malaxos battles for it. He's been close all the time. Holden is tackled by Royal. Malaxos is there beside Royal standing. And it'll be bounced, and it's all precious time in favour of Victoria.
Well, there'll be a bit of time on after that incident with the boundary umpire. In this quarter, Western Australia have kicked 4 goals, 1. Victoria 3-4. It's 19 points the difference at the 28-minute mark. Malaxos, or just past 27 minutes. Off the ground, Rance, but the hand pass dropped a bit short. Fly hack at the ball is intercepted by Neagle. He spears out a beautiful hand pass to Royal. On to Murphy, 25 metres out, and Murphy pops it through.
Well, Merv Neagle has been a very good contributor today. Victoria's had a lot of good players. But once again, he got that across the Royal, who himself came off the interchange bench and has booted 3 goals and very unselfishly popped it across to Murphy.
Murphy finished off a difficult one. Someone running at him. He just steered it over the top of his head and steered it accurately. Great team football. Keane won it. The shark from him. Downfield it goes. Brennan running with the flight of the ball. Does it very nicely. Must kick it long at this stage. Out wide it goes, and there's Jenky battling with his opponent out there. Roos comes in to give assistance. Tackled by Rance. Wilson is the man who ran over the line behind it. It's outer half-forward flank with the West Aussies in attack.
116 plays 91. Victoria in front, making up for recent State of Origin losses. Holden to Hardy. Back to Malaxos. Kick beautifully smothered by Greg Williams. Mainwaring, and his kick inside half forward, thumped down by Dorotage to Mitchell. Hardy back through the pack. What great play onto Jim Cracker. Lost it in the tackle. Bairstow. Bremen thrown down by Frawley. The crumbs come to Neagle, who started the last goal with his great hand pass. Onto Langford. The kick up through Roos. Waitman after this one, and the ball out of play. And there's a fight on back at centre wing.
Neagle and Hardy. Neagle shepherded. Hardy pushed him down, so Hardy actually started that one. Lots of time now from Hart. Hart's kick is awkward. Great leap there by Rance through Malaxos's legs. He still recovers possession and beats a paddock full. Gets it to Bairstow. Bairstow was going to give it to Holden. And a great smother, but luckily it bounced straight back to Holden from Madden's outstretched fingers. Downfield it goes. Up goes the big Alex Oschenko and out marks Langford. Bit of luck, but they deserved it. They kept on pushing forward. And Alex Oschenko has got the chance to shoot for goal once again. That was a good mark.
I think the only time for the day, Doug, that he's actually outmarked Langford. His other goals came from a hand pass in the goal square and also a short chip pass. So first time Langford has actually been outmarked. And he's missed.
Well, he missed that one from about 30 metres out, Alex Oschenko. 2 goals won for him today. Leading goal scorer for Western Australia, Bairstow with 3, and the leader for Victoria, Salmon, with 5. Chris Langford looks quite happy to use up a bit of time before he gets this one back into play. We're at the 30.5-minute mark in the last quarter. In the gloom of the shadow of the grandstand. Ruse up very high to spoil Rance. It comes to Osborne. Kicks over his shoulder. Keane camped underneath it. There goes the siren. A victory to Victoria, making up for some defeats in recent years in State of Origin games. Victoria defeat Western Australia 16-20, 116 to 13-14, 92. And the finishing margin, 24 points, which meant that Victoria outscored the home team in every quarter. They led by 7 at quarter time, 19 at half time, 22 points at three-quarter time, and won the match by 24 points. So a bit of revenge there, Kevin Bartlett, for the Victorians, who have seen their title slip a bit in the last couple of years, and just a bit of a shame that this match wasn't played for the title of Australian champion, because South Australia had beaten both Victoria and WA, and so that had been decided before this one was played.
Yes, but great to see Victoria win, Drew, and I think let's give a congratulations to Teddy Whitten and Bill Goggin and Ron Barassi and Graham Richmond and Cal Moore. The selectors, they've...